Okay, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. So yesterday we made mention of this article titled Islam, Prophet Muhammad and Blackness. Wanted to read it together, and what we're going to do is try to have a discussion, and also if anything is not clear, dissect it. We can also go back to Arabic lexicons and see if the translations were accurate or not, stuff like that. So who would like to start off in the reading? Bismillah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله قال المؤلف حفظه الله Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Blackness by Imam Sayyid Shakir.
Can you be a little louder?
Sorry.
So the mic can pick you up.
Introduction. One of the most puzzling phenomena associated with the spread of Islam in the United States is its tremendous attraction to African Americans. Many students of religion and society are baffled by that attraction, as they understand Islam to be a religion which has prejudiced black people, contributed to the disappearance of indigenous African religions, and aided the development of the slave trade, which ravaged Africa from the 16th through the 19th centuries. Advocates of this interpretation of Islam's relationship to black people or people of African descent are becoming increasingly
What is this word? What does it mean? So somebody look it up for us, and then we're going to go down to the footnote. Vehement? Okay, let's read this. What does it say in the footnote?
This sort of analysis of Islam's relationship with Africans and black people is one of the pillars of the Afrocentric movement. See, for example, Chancellor Williams' The Destruction of Black Civilization, Great Issues of Race from 4500 BC to 2000 AD.
Okay. So, he starts off by saying that African Americans come to Islam in great numbers. Within this country, at least, the greatest number of converts to Islam historically has been African Americans. But if you look at this particular academic in religious studies, what they say is that Islam actually destroyed African civilization, or had a part to play in destroying it. So that's something very interesting. So that's why you will find some people are extremely against Islam, although they may be African American, and some are more open to it. Have any of you guys learned anything about the slave trade? Like, do you know anything about these things? So Islam is a religion which has prejudiced black people. So that's one main misconception. 2, contributed to the disappearance of indigenous African religions. 3, aided the development of the slave trade. 4, ravaged Africa. The slave trade did all that. So those 3 things are typically attacks of this Afrocentric movement against Islam.
How do they argue that Islam helped aid the slave trade?
So they claim that it was Arab merchants that were selling these slaves. But the reality is, if you study the history of slavery is Africans selling other Africans to white people. It wasn't white people coming and picking them up. I mean, there's always a simplistic way of studying history, and then you can actually do some research and find out there's other things involved. So there was competition, competing tribes in Africa, and basically a prisoner of war would be a slave, and they would grab him and sell him off. So it was actually Africans against Africans. That does not remove the responsibility from white people and what they did, because they took it to another level altogether. But anyway, it's an easy scapegoat to just blame somebody else and to say, our people wouldn't do this to each other. Well, you're not being honest. And we all know this. Like right now, let's say a lot of Muslims care about the Palestinian issue. Aren't there Palestinian sellouts? Or are they all mashallah, saints? Don't some of them collaborate with the Jews to kill other Palestinians? So every society has things like that. It's easy to always lay the blame on others and to completely absolve yourself of responsibility. Okay, so that's just a little intro that Islam is attractive to African Americans, but then when you look at the academic study of African religion, some people actually are saying negative things about Islam. It's similar to how the majority of converts in America are women. Although, what's the reputation of Islam against women? A misogynistic, patriarchal, women-hating religion. Okay, how come like 7 out of 10 converts to Islam are women? What's going on? Very similar. So there are things that are like stats and then reality on the ground. Maybe we can just say the argument, maybe Islam is not a misogynistic, patriarchal, women-hating religion. Maybe Islam does not have prejudice against black people, does not aid in the development of the slave trade, transatlantic slave trade specifically, and 3, it did not help in the disappearance of indigenous African religions. Rather, people themselves left that and chose to be something else. Yes?
The writings that you're speaking about of the misconceptions of women and black people, does this go back primarily to the 20th century, or like these writings? Where do you find to go back to?
About black people, yeah, the black-centric movement, this is all within the 20th century.
And then the misconception about women being...
Same story. This is all an afterthought of Orientalism, and then what comes after Orientalism. So the study of Islam in the academy, basically. طيب, next. Dalen.
Did you finish the
He got to number 1.
So let's continue from that. Yeah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Qala al-mu'allifu hafidhahullah. At the same time, despite a far higher conversion rate, a significantly greater percentage of African Americans hold an unfavorable view of Islam as compared to whites.
Stop. Go ahead.
A poll conducted by the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life in the Pew Research Center for the People and the Press reveals that 44% of African American respondents held an unfavorable view of Islam compared to 30% of whites who responded. See Scott Keeter and Berg Olson. Views of Islam remain sharply divided. The Pew Research Center for the People and the Press, September 9th, 2004.
How long ago is that?
15 years?
15 years ago. There's a lot of changes in those last 15 years, of course. Nonetheless, what do you think this goes back to? So this number 2 here, this sentence. Despite a far higher conversion rate, meaning among African Americans, a significantly greater percentage of African Americans hold an unfavorable view of Islam as compared to whites. I don't necessarily agree with this statement, but even if we take it at face value, why would you think that's the case?
Because they might think that the reason why their ancestors or people like them suffered was because of Islam.
Okay, give me something else.
I think the Nation of Islam is also kind of ironically termed just their group of black people against, traditional Islam. It's more of a...
No, but they claim Islam. The Nation of Islam claim Islam.
But from what I've seen, it's not like... It's more of an Islam by name, not necessarily Islam itself.
That's beside the point. They are proud to call themselves Muslims, though. They don't have an unfavorable view of Islam. We're saying, why would they have an unfavorable view of Islam? Not Muslims, of Islam. Yeah.
Maybe family members converted, and then the rest of the family turns against them because it's like a family breaker.
Okay. I don't know if you guys know about this, but African Americans tend to be more religious. Extremely more religious and involved in the church. So if in the church the pastor is telling you that's the religion of the devil, what are you guys going to think? Is it going to be a favorable view or an unfavorable view? Also, it's a big threat in that community considering the high conversion rate. So when you have a big threat, do you have favorable views or unfavorable views? Like for a lot of white people, it's like, we've never heard of this thing. This is like what foreigners do. But for blacks, it's real. Everyone knows that somebody's converted. And conversion does a rupture in a family. It's not easy. Because there's a lot of misunderstandings. Like, is this guy not going to be cool anymore? Is he going to be a terrorist? What is he going to turn into? So, anyway, this article, you can tell, is 15, possibly more years ago, right? Because of the Pew Research that's quoted. Okay. You can continue, Dale.
It is therefore imperative that Muslims clarify just why Islam has proved so attractive to Africans, African Americans, and indeed people of all races and ethnicities. In this article, we will endeavor to show how Islamic teachings view blackness and the attitude of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ towards black and African people. We will examine some relevant issues relating to the Arabic language, the personal life of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and some of the policies he initiated. Hopefully, this article will give insight into some aspects of Islamic teachings that are rarely presented to the English reader, and it will also help towards understanding the continued appeal of Islam to black and African peoples. This article is not intended to directly address the issue of slavery nor the glaring institutional racism that has historically characterized many Islamic societies. These issues are highly nuanced and extremely complex. In that sense, they can only be dealt with adequately in an article that concentrates exclusively on them. It is our intention to deal with both issues and a subsequent study. Here we wish to concentrate on the issues outlined above.
I don't think he ever did. He never wrote anything on slavery or the institutional racism that historically was characterized many Islamic societies. What I'll do is I'll share some articles with you guys on these two topics. And we can also read some things. I have some things in Arabic, but I'll basically translate them as we go if we have time today, inshallah. Especially the issue of racism or institutionalized racism. So the focus is what? You always look at the focus of the article. Like, don't get confused, because sometimes people are like, well, I was desiring more of the article. Well, he told you what his intention is. So it's not fair for you to expect something that he's not even going to address. Is he going to talk about slavery here? No, he's not. Is he going to talk about institutionalized racism? No, he's not. So expecting that out of this article would not serve us well. So coming in with what? What is his focus?
Arabic language, personal language.
No. Go back. How Islamic teachings view blackness. The attitude of the Prophet ﷺ towards black and African people. Relevant issues relating to the Arabic language, the personal life of the Prophet ﷺ, and some policies he initiated. Okay? So those are the focus points. So now also, when somebody says this is what I'm going to talk about, we need to demand this out of the article. So if that is not there, then it's going to leave us seeking that information, right? Like right now, I got excited. But then I read, I'm like, where's the stuff that he talked about? Right? So you want to be looking out for these things and not looking out for the things that you may have in mind. Especially now, most people want to talk about possibly the things he's not interested in discussing here, because he said those are specific topics that require their own write-up. I think some of you may have come across some of the writings of Dr. Jonathan Brown. He wrote on slavery on Yaqeen Institute, I think, and he also has an article in Academia. And he has a book. The book that's coming out is going to be on slavery as well. So it's something to look into. Now, there is an issue there. The fact that he's a white man talking about this topic makes it very, very difficult for people to swallow. But that's not a concept we have in Islam, by the way. Like, if you're not something, then you can't speak on it. If you're not a woman, you can't speak on women's issues. If you're not black, you can't speak on black issues. That's not from Islam. If you're qualified to speak and you're bringing knowledge, then you can speak. Okay, Bismillah. Language. Who's reading next? Ladies, you want to read? Or you only read Arabic in this class? Like, no, we don't read English.
Language. Symbols, values, and signification are integral parts of any language. Collectively, there are aspects of language. These aspects of language provide the culture that nurtures the systematic formation and conveyance of ideas. The ability to systematically form ideas is a precondition for coherent thought. The ability to systematically convey ideas to others is the basis of our associations with them. Our ideas take the form of and are conveyed by words. Words with negative connotations are conducive to the formation of negative thoughts and associations.
Stop. What do you think about this passage? What is he doing here so far?
He's explaining the function of language.
The function of language. Very good. Function of language is what?
Convey ideas.
To convey ideas using words, right? What else?
Shapes our thought.
Shapes our thoughts. Words with negative connotations are conducive to the formation of negative thoughts and associations. So, I mean, we've mentioned this in class in passing, and I think you'll mention it here. You know how in English you say black sheep, black duckling. How many things are associated with black that don't necessarily have a good connotation? Go ahead.
More than can be counted.
Yeah, the majority of things are actually, if they're bad, they're associated with black. In English, is that necessarily the case in other languages? Not really. And that's very important distinction. So, go ahead. It is? You're still on, Iman. Still have the mic.
It is our contention that the negative connotations associated with blackness in the English language help shape the way we think about race here in America.
Stop. It is our contention that the negative connotations associated with blackness in the English language, and remember what we said yesterday about us? What are we? We're Americans. You're Arab, I'm not. Culturally, what are we? We're shaped by the language that we speak. And that's the importance, by the way, of picking up the language of Scripture, so it can shape you culturally. Because the language you speak and you think about shapes you. So the way we think about race in America is due to the language we use, which is the English language. Okay? Go on.
Me?
Yes.
This is so because the meanings of words are governed by their ability to be exchanged for dissimilar things whose value is to be determined, and their ability to be compared with similar things whose value is to be likewise determined.
Okay, let's pause and go down to 3.
Anthony Easthope and Kate McGowan, a critical and cultural theory reader.
Okay. He's just given us a book. He didn't give any further quotes. Okay.
In this regard, the negativity associated with the words black provides a psychological context for ascribing negative values to other things, including people who are characterized by blackness. To illustrate the negativity associated with blackness in the English language, consider the following meanings of the term black taken from the American Heritage Dictionary.
This is the importance of dictionaries. You have to look up the words that you use. Very important to do that. Okay? This is what black means. One of the meanings. Go ahead.
Evil, sinister, cheerless, and depressing, soiled, gloomy, angered, sullen, attended with disaster, calamitous, of or designating a form of humor dealing with abnormal and grotesque aspects of life in society and evoking a sense of comedy of human despair and failure, indicating or incurring censure or dishonor.
How do you like that? Doesn't sound very nice. Okay, 4. Where is 4? The American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language. Okay. What do they call it? Dark humor? Right? Okay. Next. Go ahead. Mr. Arab.
From these meanings, a series of negative phrases are derived. For example, black book, black humor, blacklist, black market, black measles, black mass, black mail, black magic, black sheep, and black plague.
Have you used these words before? Have you thought about it? Have you thought how it would make somebody feel who is black? What is the psychological effect of that on them? On this light, actually, one of the trainings that we had, one of the weeks, was watching a documentary. I want you guys to watch this documentary. So take it down. It's called The Color of Fear. The Color of Fear. And this is a documentary basically on racism. And it's interviews. It's basically people having a processing group. People from different backgrounds coming in and talking. And when we were watching it, people were feeling very, very uncomfortable. So it's something not to watch for entertainment. It's something to watch for education and introspection. And the guy who actually conducts it, he's an Asian guy, the film producer. He's got like a whole organization. He trains people. He has different trainings. And one of his main trainings has to do with this. Let me look it up and just tell you his organization's name. Because there are the one we watched was from the 90s, and there is one that's more new. So the guy's name is Lee Moon, and the organization is called Stir Fry Seminars. Stir Fry Seminars.com. Okay. You'll see that the people's clothing was different, the one that's from the 90s. So they have a college one as well, and you guys probably relate more to it because it's like millennials. But I like the older one because the new one, I think it's very distractive, although they have more diversity. So like they have a Arab girl or something. And the first one, they only have the main races within America. So they have Latinos, they have Asians, they have blacks, and they have whites. But again, many of us don't know what others feel when certain things are said. What is the psychological and emotional effect of our words? I may say a simple word that, let's say it's a joke, or I say it in jest, but the sisters may feel offended by it because it sounds like a sexist joke. They don't find it very funny, right? But for the guys, they're like, what's the big deal? It doesn't trigger anything in them, but maybe with the ladies, it triggers certain things. They're like, oh, here we go again. You know, we've heard this so many times, right? So I want you to go back to that documentary on your own time and watch it, and reflect over it. And maybe also, like, if you have a small group of people, it's worth watching it. Now, what they do though, this is what's key. Because it is a training, and because you're gonna have a lot of raw emotions. Like we were basically, everyone was very loud with certain scenes, or just very depressed. So you have to have someone who's trained to help you process what just happened. Okay? So watch at your own risk.
What is it called?
The Color of Fear, and the production is stirfryseminars.com.
This is really expensive.
There may be some that are available for free. Now also, I mean, maybe we can get it, and that was the plan. That's what I had suggested, that we get it because we're a non-profit, and then we can have our own trainings here. So maybe you guys should request stuff like that, you know, so we can bring in more value. And you know, it was very, like, I was afraid because in the processing group we had 2 white people, and I can pass as a white person as well, but as you know, I'm not really white, right? And they were so uncomfortable. I went to the director of the program and I said, we're gonna lose these people because, like, you guys are really pushing the envelope. And so there was more breakout sessions, and one of the guys, he sat with an African American lady, and she just told him about some of the experiences in her life, and it's like a light bulb went on in his head. He's like, I couldn't believe that you have to prepare yourself before you're even born to come into a society that looks at you in a negative way. He's like, I never thought about that. So he didn't know the concept of what, social activists call or term white privilege until that. Another lady comes from rural Wisconsin. So it's a very small town with 1,000 people. Just like we have white and a side of white. Those are the color combinations in her town. So she didn't relate to this at all, and it was also very uncomfortable, right? And I didn't feel it was fair. It's like you can't just pick on one group of people. Everybody has issues. I don't know if I ever told you guys, because we're talking about blackness. When I was in Medina, I met some Nigerian brothers. So Nigeria is in West Africa. And they're all black. I mean, it's black on a side of black. And then I find out that they're divided on tribes. And one tribe feels more superior to the others because they became Muslim first. And they call the tribe that came Muslim later, oh, you guys are like new Muslims. You still have a lot of pagan things. This is similar also on the subcontinent. So like if you're Pathan, the Pathans look at the Punjabis, are like, you guys, man, you just converted to Islam. You got a lot of Hindu traditions. We've been Muslim longer than you. They're all in one country. So things like that happen, but you wouldn't know it until you're inside that. You think, like if somebody was to say, oh, all these Arabs are the same. Okay, like every country in the Arab world has its own dynamics. There's tribal people, non-tribal people. There is, like the Palestinians, they may know this a little more. There's Bedouins, there's city dwellers, and there's farmers. And each one has its own culture. They don't marry with each other. Some feel more superior to others, right? So if you're an outsider looking in, you're limited in your scope. Anyway, negative connotations. Continue.
The negative connotations associated with blackness are part of the process, which use names, signs, and stereotypes to reinforce ideas of inferiority and superiority in racial and religious relationships here in America, and indeed throughout the colonized world.
Key term, the colonized world.
This process, which many scholars refer to as a signification, provided a framework for Europeans to enforce ideas of superiority. However, in the racially charged environment of 20th century America, it also provided African Americans who entered into Islam a framework for asserting a non-European cultural and religious identity. Brent Turner, drawing from the research of Charles Long, summarizes the role of signification in the history of African American Muslims in the following passage.
Pause. Can we look up signification, please? What does this word mean? So signification looks like it's a social construct.
The representation or conveying of meaning.
The representation and conveyance of meaning. Okay. Is there another more technical term? Or definition, sorry?
Just says an exact meaning or sense.
Okay. Play. Go ahead.
If you scroll up, I believe he defines it too. Yeah, so from the negative connotations all the way to refer to a signification is the definition. So which use names, signs, and stereotypes to reinforce ideas of inferiority and superiority in racial and religious.
This part, so it should be from there.
The
Using names, signs, stereotypes. Go ahead.
The act or process of signifying by signs or other symbolic means.
Okay, that's what we're looking for. To reinforce ideas of inferiority and superiority in racial and religious relationships here in America. So what does this author say? Signification?
Signification was part of the ambiguous heritage of the Enlightenment. For on the one hand, people of color were categorized, stigmatized, and exploited for the purposes of economic and political hegemony. But on the other, equalitarianism and the universality of humanity were affirmed by critical Enlightenment thinkers such as Thomas Jefferson and John Locke. The Black American community was signified during this period as inferior to the dominant group in America. Since slavery, however, Islam has undercut this significance by offering Black Americans a chance to signify themselves, giving them new names and new cultural identities.
Okay. There is what's the key word here? Enlightenment. When else have we looked at this term? Do you guys remember? Sometime this year we looked at enlightenment.
Remember some of the history of the Quran, like translations of the Quran.
Possibly. Do you guys remember Mubin's seminar? Enlightenment is liberalism. Do you remember those names? John Locke is who? One of the fathers of liberalism. Okay? So it's connected, it's intertwined. What I wanted to focus on is this sentence. The Black American community was signified during this period as inferior to the dominant group in America. Who's the dominant group? Dominant does not mean numbers, by the way. Dominant means political authority. That's what the dominant group is in all human history. So like a slave master would be the dominant group, although he may have 1,000 slaves. Him and his family are the dominant ones. They get to decide. In light of this, there is something called internalized oppression. Internalized oppression, where you actually believe what the dominant group thinks about you. Okay? Which is not right. It messes your psyche, basically. And the Muslim community deals with that. It's like internalizing that we are somehow a fifth column in America. Right? Because that's what the dominant group may say about us. That's not right. You know that you're not that. So don't believe the stereotypes of the people trying to dominate you. Internalized racism or internalized oppression. Okay. Go on.
One of the reasons Islam
Proved
a source of positive signification is found in its positive view of blackness and black people.
Stop. Islam has a positive view of blackness and black people. This contradicts the culture that we are in. That does not. Right? But again, a lot of us, reflect over your family and some of the things that they may say about a particular group of people in this society. Family, friends, culturally, how do we behave? Do you think we behave based on Islam? Or do we behave based on how we have been conditioned? I remember when people would migrate to America, as soon as they come to America, they tell them, be careful when you go to certain neighborhoods. Like, why don't you say be careful when you're in the suburbs? Why is that the case? My family migrated here, and I remember growing up, when I came in, I'm pretty white, but we were in Texas. And I was not welcomed by the white folks. Who do you think welcomed me? Who do you think, looked out for me? Blacks and Latinos. Right? And I didn't even speak English. So, but now my family, their conditioning, my dad was like, why are you trying to act black? He didn't have to go through what I went through, but he was influenced by media, by culture, what he already thought something about, certain categories of people. And he looks like a white man. If you think I'm white, you should look at my dad. He's got green eyes, red face, doesn't have a beard. Looks like a cowboy. So he fits in culturally perfectly fine. He can blend in. He also didn't go to public school. So this is something very interesting. And that's why usually, again, the younger generation doesn't carry on a lot of the prejudices that the older people have in our community. But sometimes we do. If we are like sheltered, and if we only mix with our own kind, then we will have the same feelings. It is only after you mix with other people. Same thing now, some people may have like an issue with, well, I can't trust white people. Well, have you ever been with them? A lot of them are very polite people. So in fact, when I went to public school, some of the best people were white people because they were religious. They looked out for me because they're like, you wouldn't do these things. When people would curse, they're like, he doesn't like hearing those words. Right? People would do some nasty things, right? And they looked out for me. One of them invited me to church. He's like, come, we have a party in church. It's clean. But my parents weren't having that either. They're like, they're going to convert you to Christianity. Okay. Go on.
You can see this if you look at the meanings associated with black and blackness in Arabic lexical sources.
Okay, which is the Arabic lexicon. So this is the importance of language. So that's the very first thing he's going to look at right now. He built the foundation of saying the English language has a lot of negative connotations related to the word black, right? And that's what influences us culturally as English speakers. Let's say how the Arabic language, which influences Islamic culture, views the word black. Bismillah.
Admittedly, the word for black in Arabic, aswad, has some of the negative connotations found in English. Al-Baqir, Al-Afif,
Mukhtar,
right, for example. It has been mentioned that in its symbolic order, Arabic Islamic culture standardizes the white color and prejudices the black color. In pre-Islamic poetry, in the Quran, in classical Islamic jurisprudence, fiqh, and in classical as well as modern literature, the white color symbolizes beauty, innocence, purity, hope, etc., whereas the black color symbolizes the opposite of these concepts.
Okay. So, who is this guy? I don't really know him, but we're going to go down to 7 and see where is this taken from. 7. What does it say? The crisis of identity in northern Sudan. A dilemma of black people with a white culture. So this is very key. Remember yesterday I told you guys, in Sudan, which is an African country, the ruling class are Arabs. They are black, but they're Arabs ethnically. They're the dominant group. And this is what this is talking about. The crisis of identity in northern Sudan. So this intertwines politics. So I don't necessarily agree fully with this particular quote, but we're going to see that it's not all that. So go on.
Mukhtar's argument is superficial in that he fails to adequately contextualize the meaning of blackness in Arabic and Islamic sources, some of which he quotes. Nor does he examine the positive associations, descriptions, and symbols related to the concept.
Stop. So you see this passage right here? What did the author just say? His argument is very superficial. But if you didn't know any better and you took this at face value, you're like, well, this is exactly what the English language does. So why are you guys making a big deal about Arabic? Look at how he painted Arabic. Arabic, the Quran, pre-Islamic poetry, classical jurisprudence, right? Classical and modern. It all says that white symbolizes beauty and black symbolizes the opposite. This is not correct. So like when you read something like that, you should put a question mark on it and say, I demand evidence to this. Don't just take it for face value. Just because someone makes a claim does not mean the claim is true. You're like, I saw it in a book. Sometimes I have discussions with older people and I'm like, what? How do you believe this? And they're like, we saw it on the news. I'm like, okay, that's the beginning of our problem. Just because you watch something on the news doesn't make it a fact. Yeah.
Then I don't know know if you're gonna move on to this, but then can you give us a better?
He's going to do it right now.
Oh, okay.
He's going to show you the positive connotation of blackness within the Arabic language.
Because from what it looks like, just from this verse, from someone on the outside, if you're just to read what's on the screen right now,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like it looks like it's just doing the same thing as English, like you mentioned.
Exactly. But that's incorrect because of the world view of the author. This guy, Al-Baqir, Al-Baqir has done what? Although he comes from a Muslim country, what do you think his background is educationally? Western, yes. It's an English paper. Right? So you think it's going to cater to Western sensitivities or Islamic sensitivities? He's saying, look, Arabic Islamic culture standardizes the white color and prejudices the black color. Where did we say this was mentioned before? Where was the word prejudice mentioned earlier? Prejudiced blacks. That's the very first paragraph in the paper. Afrocentric academia, right? They're the ones who say that. We don't believe that. So you push back when somebody is misrepresenting you. You say, no, that's not correct. And that's what Imam Zayd is going to do right now. So go ahead.
He cites, by way of illustration, the Quranic verse, on a day some faces will be whitened and others blackened.
So this number one is a wrong interpretation of the ayah. يَوْمَ تَبْيَضُّ وُجُوهٌ وَتَسْوَدُّ وُجُوهٌ. Has nothing to do with white and black. But look at the translation here. Okay? So he's going to go, let's go down to 8. What does it say in 8? Quran. So go back to this ayah. What does it actually mean? Go ahead. What do you have in yours? So chapter 3, 106 and 107.
Oh no, Sheikh.
Oh no.
Would you like me to read the translation?
Yes.
On the day when some faces brighten and others darken, it will be said to those with darkened faces, how could you reject your faith after believing? Taste the torment for doing so.
So darkened and brightened. Because are there not some black people that are believers? We mentioned them yesterday. Do you think it's a punishment to give somebody black face? Some of the most bright faces we've seen among the righteous are black people who shine. Spiritual shine. Right? So this is a type of shining that comes from Iman and righteousness. It's nothing to do with your skin color. So this is not about whitening and blackening. Does he have commentary there on the bottom?
No.
Mohsen Khan, Yusuf Ali Shakir picked all of them say black.
Of course. And what have I been doing all year long about translations? This is the case in point. So now when someone reads this, they're like, it says it in the Quran. And look how many translators say this. Well, none of them are qualified to translate. Okay? Many? Go ahead.
Many commentators mention that this does not refer to physical whitening for the righteous, nor physical blackening for the sinners.
Stop. This is tafsir. Maz, you got to go back to us. Yes, sir.
I have Ma'ani from Quran right here.
Ma'arif al-Quran?
Yeah.
Okay, Mufti Taqis?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it says, according to the majority of commentators, brightness signifies the brightness of light of faith, and as the faces of believers shall be resplendent with the light of faith, fresh and smiling due to happiness, as a result of rewards bestowed on them by Allah. Darkness signifies the darkness of disbelief. That is, the faces of the disbelievers will be covered with gloomy anguish of disbelief, and the added suit of sin and transgression would turn them still darker.
Jazakallah khair. Has nothing to do with black and white. That's the case in point. But now if you know a little bit of Arabic, you're like, Abiyad, I learned it on Google Translate. Abiyad means white and Aswad means black. So when I translate, I say the faces will be black and faces will be white. The language is way more powerful than that. Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like Aswad, I've heard, is not just like does not just signify like this color in particular, but could also be attributed to colors that are like dark yellow or more.
We're gonna come up with that. Dark green is usually Aswad or Sawad. We're gonna come up with this, and I have my book. Remember my book? Because guess what? Aswad appears where? In the Quran. So when you have the Quranic lexicon, you're gonna read some things in there. But we want to do this article for now. So
The terms Abiyad and Aswad aren't used when speaking about people who we would define as black and white either.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, what was that you just mentioned?
You don't use Abiyad and Aswad when you describe people's skin color in the Arabic language, except in modern Arabic, which is not Arabic. Modern Arabic is a translation of Western languages to Arabic. Like, it makes no sense to call someone Abiyad. But
Like that.
like if somebody's this color, they're not alive, okay? Something is really wrong. You have blood and you're turning red. So it's red, not Abiyad. Okay. Many commentators repeat that because this is important. So this is when you go back to tafsir. So never settle for a translation. Always go back to tafsir. What do the scholars say about this? Not translators, scholars. Yes.
Many commentators mention that this does not refer to physical whitening for the righteous, nor physical blackening for the sinners. The great
Exegete.
Abu Sa'ud.
So his name is Abu As-Sa'ud. Abu Sa'ud.
Abu Sa'ud mentions that the whitening and blackening of the face are allegories for, respectively, the manifestation of great happiness or dejection on the day of resurrection. That being the case, even though the whitening of the face is identified with a positive referment, great happiness, it is not associated with any racial or ethnic grouping in this world, nor does it have any actual association with the physical color. Therefore, it cannot be viewed as a term that prejudices any human group. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is related as mentioning that on that day in the life hereafter, the faces of black people will be the whitest.
Okay, let's go back to 10. Where is this at? Look at this. So this is page 10. Read what it says in 10.
Imran Hamza Alawi
Ibn Jawzi's
Apologia on behalf of the black people and their status in Islam, a critical edition and translation of Kitab Tanwir
Al-Ghabash
fi Fadl
Al-Sudan wal-Habash.
Dissertation, University of London, 1985, page 146.
The term whitest here means most illuminated. So this is actually a book that recently came on the market. It's not this, another translation of it, which is Ibn al-Jawzi. So I'll send it to Sarah as well, and you guys can get the reference. So he wrote a whole book called Tanwir al-Ghabash fi Fadl al-Sudani wal-Habash. Tanwir al-Ghabash. Ghabash is like when something is not clear, like when there is fog in your eyesight. So he's going to illuminate that and brighten that in showcasing the virtues of As-Sudan wal-Habash, black people and East Africans specifically. And there is another book as well that other authors have had on this particular topic. So I'll share further references with you guys. Okay. Next, who wants to read? Ladies. Maryam, you want to read? No? Sorry. If you don't, you can just turn it.
If one were to interpret the Quran prejudicing a particular group, then the negativity associated with the term black, and hence its prejudicing black people, would be offset by other verses such as, on the day when the trumpet will be blown, you will gather the wrongdoers in blue eyes.
نحشر المجرمين يومئذ زرقا. Okay? Blue eyes. Now, from this is the translation that the Qadianis have, which is Maulana Muhammad Ali, and it is the one that influenced the nation of Islam. And from there, they got that white people are devils. Because white people have what color eyes? What color are your eyes, Dalen?
Mine? I don't.
Green. Just say green. Yes, but usually people with blue eyes are white, right? So let's go to 11. What does he say here in 11? Quran 20:102. So open 20:102, and you give us Ma'arif al-Quran, ya Najib.
I'm sorry, may you please reiterate the point you were making about the modern standard Arabic, how Westerners they translate it
Not Westerners. Modern Arabs are translating English concepts into Arabic. So it's backwards translation. Instead of saying the words we say in Arabic.
Okay, I see what you mean.
The Arabic of the Quran does not say aswad for a black person. That's not mentioned.
That makes it backwards translation.
Go ahead.
When the trumpet is sounded and we gather the sinful sightless.
Sightless.
And there's another definition, zur, from azraq, which means, among other things, blind.
Blind and not blue. Because a lot of times when someone is blind, what happens to their eyes? There's a layer on top of it, right? So it looks like they have blue eyes, but they don't actually have blue eyes.
The hadith from the Quran doesn't have anything on blue eyes, but Tafsir Ibn Kathir says, and we shall gather the criminal's blue eye. It has been said this means having blue eyes due to the severity of their horrifying situation.
Okay, continue.
Were one to interpret this verse literally, as I have translated it, one could say that it clearly prejudices Northern Europeans, the people most commonly found with blue eyes. The exegetes clearly dismissed such an interpretation, pointing out that blue here is an allegory for eyes that have been afflicted with cataracts. They take on a bluish color and lose their capacity for sight. Thus will be the state of wrongdoers in the day of resurrection. Again, the verse is void of any worldly, racial, or ethnic association or ascription, as cataracts afflict people of all racial stripes.
Cataracts. Tell me what that means. It seems like it's like some type of problem with the eyes, but let's just look up the definition. Yes?
No, I had a question.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, what is allegory? Can you define allegory for me?
Allegory is like an analogy. Like something similar. It's not actually this thing, it's rather something else. But we should look that word up as well. So the meaning of allegory. Good, because it appeared twice already. A story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. So it says, Pilgrim's Progress is an allegory of the spiritual journey. They have other words, parable, analogy, metaphor. So like mathal in Arabic, tamthil. Okay.
It's the clouding of the clear lens of the eye.
Clouding of the clear lens of the eye. So does that affect everyone, or does it only affect certain races? Everyone, right? It's like saying the flu. Only people who live in like the northern hemisphere get the flu. That's not correct. Okay.
Even if one interprets the word blackening literally in the above referenced verse, there are a large number of very positive, non-prejudicial connotations associated with blackness in the Arabic language.
Pause. Yes, you still have a question.
Yes. How is he sure that this is an allegory? Like, does he use like the Prophet's actions as in support, or like hadith?
I don't know. I wouldn't really agree with the usage of the word allegory. That's what he says, but I don't use that because this is not just a method. We believe this is going to happen in reality. It's not like this is an analogy of what is going to happen. This is exactly what is going to happen. It's not just a metaphor. There's something else happening. And that goes back to, again, a concept in language. Is the words you're reading reality or not? Or is there hidden meanings behind the words? But what he's trying to do here is, he said, if I take it literally, and I don't agree with that either, because the literal word in Arabic does not mean this. The literal translation means this, but not in Arabic. Like, tafsir is literal tafsir. Zahirun nas. You're looking at exactly what's before you, not any hidden meaning. But the problem with translation is they take one of them, like when you open a lexicon like Hansware, you got like 30 different translations of one word, and it's like picking just one. That doesn't really work. So yeah, I had an issue with this usage of allegory here, because allegorical commentary on the Quran is very problematic. It comes up with very weird and strange understandings. But I don't think that's what he's doing here. He's just saying, look, if you're just going to do a basic translation at face value, you're not going to come up with the depth of the language. And then he goes back to the author again, this guy Mukhtar. So go ahead.
This is an issue Mukhtar and others fail to explore. For example, in the most Arabic lexicons, we read that black is simply the opposite of white. Associated meanings include sawad, literally blackness, meaning a group of palm or other trees so called because of their lushness.
Stop. That's what sawad means in the Arabic language. Refers to what? Palm trees because of their lushness. Go on.
The settled areas around a village or town, a great multitude of people,
As-Sawad al-A'zam. So like when you have Eid Salah, they say this is As-Sawad al-A'zam of the Muslims. Why? Because all of them are collected. Are they all black? Has nothing to do with color. It has to do with numbers. Palm trees. Sawad, not because they're black. Are they black? No, because they're numbers. It's mass. And lushness.
And great wealth. The two staples of the desert, Arabs' diet, dates and water, are referred to as the two black things.
That's from the hadith of Aisha. كان طعامنا الأسودان. Our food was the two black things. That's when you translate it what? At face value. But that's not what it means. It doesn't mean two black things. Dates come in all different colors. And is water black? If your water is black, I think you need to like go get yourself checked out, because it means there's issues there. Okay?
Then why are they referred to as the two black things?
That's the translation.
It's probably dark brownish.
No, it has nothing to do with color.
So it has it's just a word that's used to describe them that has nothing to do with like a physical.
Yes. It has nothing to do with the color. That's the point. Get out of color, which is very difficult because when you're saying black, we always associate black with color.
But then a lot of people say that it is true that the water at the time was pretty bad. That's why people used to drink a lot, intoxicants, because it was purer than water.
No. It wasn't black.
I mean, of course it wasn't black, but it could be darker, dirty. There were no filters back then.
Natural filters. You boil up.
There were filters. They were filters, not our types of filters. They did have filters. The palm tree itself has fibers. They use the fibers to filter the water. Okay? It is?
It is interesting to note that whiteness, bayat, is in some of the contexts mentioned above as negative connotations. For example, as opposed to developed, settled areas referred to by blackness, sawad, whiteness, bayat, means deserted, void of life, and wasteland.
That's a fact in the Arabic language. So you say Sawadul Iraq, which is the area that is that has development, that has people living in it. And Bayadul Iraq is the place that is in the desert that has no life and it has not been settled.
The word Sayyid is from the same root as black or blackness.
Sayyid. What's Sayyid? Master or leader or chief. Okay? The root is sawada. This is what you're gonna look up basically. So whether in Hansware, whether in Arabic lexicon, you're gonna look up sawada and you're gonna see all the different interpretations. Okay?
The word means, depending on the context, Lord, Master, Honorable, Virtuous, Generous, Forbearing, one who bears the abuse of his people, leader. In this context, for a person to be called literally blacker, aswadu, than someone else would mean he is more majestic. An exhaustive examination of this issue would be quite lengthy. If we turn to religious symbols, we see that these positive connotations of blackness are also present in the theological worldview cultivated by Islam. For example, the Kaaba, the cube-shaped edifice that every Muslim faces during his or her daily prayers, is constructed of gray stones. It is honorifically referred to as the house of God, Baytullah. It is draped in a black covering, al-kiswa.
Okay, stop. 19.
The Kaaba is now always draped in black. This practice dates back to the beginning of the Prophet's caliphate. However, before that, it was known to have been draped in cloth of various colors.
Yeah, that's important. In early Islam, it wasn't black. The cloth of the Kaaba. It was colored. The black color was the color of the Abbasid Empire. So when they came, they had black flags and they put black all over. But this was not the color of Islam. The banner of the Prophet ﷺ was white and green. It wasn't black. And also it didn't have any writing on it either. It was just plain, because they didn't write things like that. They would not write Allah's name on something that may fall down. Always remember that. It was mainly just to gather people and to help with organization. It had nothing to do with like the words that are written therein. Okay?
At that black cloaked house, the only object we're allowed to kiss as an act of worship is a black stone, al-hajar al-aswad. In the tradition of Gabriel, when he appeared before the Prophet ﷺ and a group of his followers in the form of a man, of all of the features which could have been singled out to emphasize his striking beauty, his inherently black hair is mentioned.
Intensely.
His intensely black hair is mentioned. Shadid Sawad.
You tell me, you did it in Arba'in al-Nawawiyah, hadith number 2.
No, we haven't.
You didn't do it? Oh, you guys are not that class.
So Shadid Sawad.
Shadidu Sawadi Sha'ri. Shadidu Sawadi Sha'ri. His hair is exceedingly black. Okay?
Black hair is celebrated in Arab literature as a sign of beauty and virtue.
Yeah, that's a fact. Of course, now in contemporary Arab world, they celebrate blonde hair. And guess why? Just take a wild guess. Colonization. Because people inherently love their masters. They love those who are superior than them. They want to be like them. Hence, what are they called? The creams? What do they do? Bleaching creams?
Fairness comes bleaching.
Fair and Lovely, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Fair and Lovely. Okay.
The black seed, al-haba al-sawda,
As-Sawda.
as-sawda, is considered the most beneficial of all medicines, being ascribed as the cure for everything except death.
Yeah, so Al-Habba As-Sawda, in many of parts of the Arab world, they call it Habbatul Baraka. That's its official name. The seed of blessings. Right? So, all of these things that he mentioned, do these things have special significance for Muslims or not? Kaaba, black stone, right? I mean, it's black stone now, but the hadith also says what? It was whiter than milk when it came down, but the sins of humans darkened it. That's not mentioned here because he's trying to make a point, right? Because it's special to us now as it is now, regardless of how it was originally. Yes?
Why mention the color of the Kaaba as Islamic or Arabic culture, black is considered a positive thing, when the cloth of the Kaaba came in later on and not at the time when the Quran was revealed?
Because that's what most people associate the Kaaba with. You know, just like the masjid concept, if I tell you masjid, no one associates masjid with the thing I described yesterday. Right? If anyone thinks of Medina, what do you think the first thought that comes to their mind is? The green dome. You know, the green dome was not green 400 years ago. It was always white before that. Blue. Just imagine that. It was a blue dome for a period of time. But that has become normalized. So this is the symbol that comes in people's minds, not the original one. So he's talking about within our Muslim culture, not necessarily at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. When people think Kaaba, what color do they think? Black. Does that make them feel somewhat like repulsed, or does that actually they have like it has a magnetic feel to it? Everyone loves the Kaaba if they're Muslims. They see it, they start crying out of emotional, feelings and stuff like that. So he's trying to make that point, not necessarily that was the original color. That's beside the point.
No, I mean, is he trying to prove that Arabic from the time of the Prophet and during the time of the Prophet?
He moved from Arabic now. He's talking about symbolism now.
Symbolism.
Arabic was the first paragraphs. Now he's moving on symbols. What are some of these symbols? Black stone, black seed. Those are no longer purely Arabic. Now those are associations. We associate blackness. Are these positive things or negative things? Positive things. That's the point.
But then in that sense, like a black car in American culture is like a sign of like a higher class of car.
Yeah.
Couldn't you something make the same argument in that sense? If you're arguing like a modern symbolism and modern using of these terms?
Yeah, I guess one can say that. One can say that, yes. But still, again, he's trying to build a case. We haven't read the whole argument yet, right? Yes.
We haven't read. I might be jumping the gun here, but how would we explain to someone who might still feel that black isn't bad, but secondary to whiteness? The example, like the Hajar al-Aswad, it used to be white, and then like sins over time, it became black.
Blackened it.
Yeah, they say we know that's because of sins, but still the difference between white and black. How would we like explain that to them?
Let's finish the article first. But I wanted to share that with you guys, just like I wanted to read about the kiswa of the Kaaba, to give you the full picture. Because this is not a full argument. That's the whole point. You can find holes in that argument. You see? Just like that. And just like what you pointed out. So is that like the most solid of arguments? Not necessarily. But in people's imagination and association, yes. People love the black stone as it is today. They've never seen the original one. The one that came from paradise. Right? They've seen this. And that was the one that was around in the time of the Prophet himself. It wasn't white in his time either. You see? So that's key. Yeah.
I was going to say, and again, it's important to just keep remembering that these aren't the terms used to describe black and white people in
Exactly. Exactly.
Even though we use those terms, we have to try and reshape our thought process and know that that's not how they use those terms.
Yeah. Go on.
The color representing the family of the Prophet ﷺ was black.
Okay, I don't agree with this, other than the Abbasis. The Abbasis are the ones who institutionalized this black color. So they were from the family of the Prophet ﷺ. Of course, this later on becomes a Shia color. So if you know anything about the Shia, they're usually wearing black. But that's not the sunnah of the Prophet. The Prophet says wear white. Says this is the most beloved color to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Go on.
He wore a black turban, a practice widely followed by those claiming descent from him.
He didn't only wear a black turban. He wore a black turban and other colors as well. But again, when we say a practice followed by those claiming descent from him, that's a specific Shia thing. So among the Shia, let me tell you something. When you see Shia scholars, if a Shia scholar wears a white turban, it means he doesn't attribute himself to the lineage of the Prophet. If they wear a black turban, it means he comes from the lineage of the Prophet. That's very key. They could be both scholars, but they got different color, like color coordination. And if someone is not a scholar and is from the family of the Prophet, they wear a green hat if they're Shia. That's how you can identify them.
How do they know that they're actually from the...
People have family trees and people claim certain things, you know. At any rate, that has nothing to do with Islam. That has become like a uniform for them. But this is just a side point. Okay.
It is interesting to note that the standard of the Prophet's polity was black while his banner was white.
Okay, so standard.
Polity.
What does the standard mean, and what does banner mean?
Standard is the flag.
What's the standard?
I think it's like the symbol.
Huh?
I think it's like the symbol of the army.
The flag.
And what's a banner?
The thing that's on the standard, right? I thought the standard was white.
I guess the standard is the pole and the
23. What does it say in 23?
23. Imam Abu Muhammad.
The Sunan. So the hadith in Ibn Majah. Can you find this hadith? Go to sunnah.com. 2818 in Ibn Majah. Let's see what it says. Oh, we got a lot of exciting comments here. Wa alaikum assalam. I do it because the Sheikh Ahmed asked. Oh, so we have Sarah says, Salam alaikum Sheikh, and Munir. I heard this is a thing you do, and I'm going to follow your example. Allahu Akbar. What does it say? Munir says, I do it because Sheikh Ahmed asked whoever watches online to send a quick message so he knows who is watching. Also, we get his dua for us, which is an extra bonus. Sarah says, oh subhanallah, okay, jazakallahu khairan Sheikh, at Sheikh Ahmed Al-Kurdi. Okay. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to both of you. Yes sir, did you come up with it?
It's
Loading. Continue reading until he finds it.
The black standard was the more prominent of the two. The Abbasids, whose revolt was nominally undertaken to establish the political authority of the Prophet's family, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, took the black flag as their standard. When the Quran mentions several colors in juxtaposition, it in no way conveys any negative connotation for black or blackness. God says, have you not seen how God sends water from the sky and we bring forth therewith fruit of diverse colors, and in the mountains are streaks of white and red of various shades and others intensely black.
24. Stop. Do you have something, Dela? طيب, let's find this ayah. 24. 35, 28, 27, please. Go ahead, read the hashia here, the footnote.
25.
24.
24. Al-Quran 35:27. The term Gharabib
غرابيب سود.
Sud mentioned in this verse can refer to veins of intensely black hue, as I have translated it, or to separate mountains, themselves intensely black in color.
Okay, what do you have, ya Mu'adh?
Have you, Prophet, not seen how God sends water down from the sky, and that we produce with it fruits of varied colors, that there are in the mountains layers of white and red of various hues and jet black?
Okay. In this verse?
In this verse, the beauty and majesty of the lofty mountains are mentioned. Their beauty lies in the rich variation of their colors, and black is one of the most beautiful colors. In this verse, it is the only color that is mentioned in emphatic terms. Gharabib Sud. Language and symbols provide the basis for our negotiating and understanding reality. As we have attempted to illustrate, Arabic, the language of the Quran, provides a context for positive association with blackness. Being free from the stultifying hindrance of overt or subliminal racial prejudicing, the Quranic message can be readily assessed as on its merits. Okay, what does that mean? Stultifying?
Let's look it up. Stultifying. Stultify. Cause to lose enthusiasm and initiative, especially as a result of a tedious or restrictive routine. Cause to appear foolish or absurd. So the Quran doesn't have this type of hindrance. Overt or subliminal racial prejudicing. The Quran does not have this issue of race. That's the point. Don't use the language to try to project overt or subliminal racial prejudice to the Quran. That's the first thing he's negating. The Quran does not mention skin color as a race within it in negative connotation. In fact, a lot of the words related to blackness within the Quran relate to positive things, not negative things. Okay.
It is the message of the Quran that attracts people of all racial and ethnic backgrounds, along with the loftiness of the prophetic practice. We will now turn to an examination of that practice.
Okay, pause. So far we've done the Arabic, the cultural associations, and the Quran so far. Did you come up with the hadith? Yes.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. قال المؤلف رحمه الله عن أبي العباس
عن أبي العباس
عن ابن عباس
ابن عباس. Okay.
أن راية رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كانت سوداء ولواؤه أبيض.
Okay. So that's the hadith that he brings. So the banner and the flag, or the standard and the banner. So
the raya is the flag.
yeah, so raya is like the main thing for the whole army, and then liwa is your own, like, you divide the army into different groups. So the different groups had different colors. So the standard would be for the whole army, and then the liwa would be for a specific group within it. طيب, the prophetic practice. Who wants to read?
The prophetic practice. We wish to introduce this section of our article, an examination of the prophetic practice as it relates to his attitude towards his black companions, with a glimpse at a few Islamic teachings of relevance for understanding the Islamic position on race. These teachings, when properly understood, work towards eliminating color-based prejudice and racism. We will limit ourselves to a few representative verses from the Quran and a few prophetic traditions. God mentions in the Quran, "O mankind, surely we have created you from a single pair, a male and female. We then made you into nations and tribes that you come to know one another, not that you despise one another. The most noble of you with God is the most pious." It's 25. This is
Hujurat. Go on.
This verse emphasizes that the values that are meaningful with God are rooted in the context of a person's character, not in any physical features or distinctions. Dividing humanity into nations and tribes facilitates our knowledge of our respective lineages. However, we are discouraged from thinking that those lineages give any of us an intrinsic advantage over another human being. We are reminded that we are all descendants of Adam, and Adam was created from dirt. That's Quran Ayah, Surah 3, Ayah 59. This verse reads, "The similitude of Jesus with God is Adam. He created him, Adam, from dirt, then said to him, 'Be,' and he was." Hence, any virtue is based on those characteristics which transcend physical accidents and contingencies. The best is the most pious, as piety lies in mindfulness of God, and it is a reinforcement of the message conveyed at the beginning of the 4th chapter of the Quran, Surah Nisa, where God, after mentioning the creation of humanity from a single pair, reminds us, "God is surely watching over you." This is Surah Nisa, 1st ayah. Our mindfulness of this fact and our appropriate responses in light of it are what distinguishes us. It is related that the Prophet ﷺ has said, "Whoever would be pleased to be the noblest of people, let him be mindful of God."
Just go on, read.
He said, "Praise be to God who has removed from me the burden and arrogance of pre-Islam. People are of two types: a pious believer who is loved by God, and a wretched profligate who is debased by God." He then recited this verse in the Quran, Surah 49, Ayah 13.
Which is Hujurat, what we just read.
Oh, okay. He also said, "Verily, God does not look at your external forms, nor at your wealth. Rather, He looks at your deeds and your heart.
إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أموالكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم.
Here, the two greatest sources of external differentiation in human societies are eliminated: race and economic class. Furthermore, two transcendental qualities, righteous deeds and the state of the heart, are stressed. The implications of these teachings for human society are profound.
So really that's what matters for us in Islam. Not your color, not your shape, and not your class. What matters is your taqwa, which is a combination of what's in your heart and what your deeds are. That's how we look at people. And that's why, again, somebody does not have to be related to us and we love him more than somebody who may be related to us or looks just like us, because they don't have the righteousness of that first person.
Elsewhere in the Quran, God emphasizes that the variation of people's colors are among His signs. As He says, among His signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variation of your languages and complexions. Surely in this are signs for knowledgeable people. Many of the exegetes mention that the sign in this variation, whose true extent only God knows, is that it all issues from a single parentage. Hence, if we are pleased that God has blessed us with a beautiful hue, we should see that as a glorification of God, not our particular race. The gist of this discussion is that God never intended physical differences to be the basis of distinctions and prejudicial attitudes between people.
Prejudicial
attitudes between people. In fact, it is Satan who claimed virtue and distinction based on his physical attributes. He says, when ordered to prostrate himself to Adam, I am better than he. You created me from fire, while you created him from clay. Satan's stand here is instructive from another point of view. In addition to his arrogance, his racism is clearly displayed. For the clay that Adam was created from was black in color. Hama'in masnoon.
That's the color that Allah made Adam from, as per the Quran. خلق الجنة من نار السموم وخلق الإنسان من. Well, it's multiple places, but we'll see the reference right now. Hama'im masnoon means black in color.
Any racist, Muslim or non-Muslim, should know that he is following the footsteps of Satan in his vile attitudes and practices.
طيب, let's see, 34 is where? Hama'im masnoon, black clay. Huh? Min salsalin min hama'in masnoon. What does that mean?
The Lord said to the angels, I will create a mortal out of dry clay formed from dark mud.
Dark?
Mud.
Okay. Go on.
The Prophet ﷺ was the best of God's creation. Hence, his exalted standard of conduct was never the basis for any demeaning attitude or behavior. His attitude towards race and race relations affirms that. This can be illustrated by examining his closest and most beloved companions. Before the practice was forbidden by revelation, the Prophet ﷺ adopted Zayd ibn Haritha as his son and appended him to his lineage. He stood at the Kaaba and proclaimed, after Zayd had given preference to him over his very father, bear witness that Zayd is my son. Thereafter, he was known as Zayd ibn Muhammad. He was nicknamed Habibur Rasulullah.
Hibbu Rasulillah.
Hibbu Rasulillah, the beloved of the Messenger of Allah, owing to the tremendous love the Prophet ﷺ had for him. Not only did the Prophet ﷺ love Zayd ibn Haritha, he trusted him with the command of many of the expeditionary forces which took the field in the early days of Islam. In fact, Zayd was the most prominent Muslim commander during that time. He led the expeditions to Al-Qurada in the Najd, to Bani Sulaym, and Al-Jamun, to
Al-Is,
to Al-Qara, to Wadi Al-Qura, twice, to Hisma, and he was first in command during the battle of Mu'ta. where he was martyred, leading his force of approximately 3,000 Muslims against a Byzantine force numbering upwards of 200,000 men.
So the adopted son of the Prophet ﷺ, who is the only name of the Sahaba that appears in the Quran explicitly, you're going to read what he is. He's black. Okay? Zayd ibn Haritha. فَلَمَّا قَضَى زَيْدٌ مِنْهَا وَطَرًا زَوَّجْنَاكَهَا. So that's in surah number 33, surah Al-Ahzab. And in that surah is where Allah also reveals that you cannot append your adopted son to your lineage, which was a practice common before this revelation. So in early Islam, Zayd was the Prophet's slave. Actually, he was gifted to him by Khadija, and then he adopted him, freed him and adopted him. And Zayd's family, actually, he became a slave because of warfare in Arabia. His dad and uncle came to get him, and he refused to go with them. So I'd never turn. I would never go back to you. I want to remain with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's before, and he was, of course, one of the first Muslims as well. So Zayd was the first Muslim in the slave class because he lived in the household of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So here it showcases the Prophet's closest people were the ones that he would put in charge in expeditions. So look at how many battles he led. That showcases what value he had. So the adopted son of the Prophet, one of the earliest Muslims, and the one that led in all these expeditions. Go ahead.
The most significant point of his story as it relates to this article is that Zayd ibn Haritha was black.
Underline that. that's the whole point, right? Okay.
In Tanwir al-Ghabash,
which is the book that we referenced earlier,
Ibn Jawzi describes him as a short man, very black, with a flat nose. To the Prophet ﷺ, Zayd was like the son he never had, his own male offspring having all died in their infancy. Barakah bint
Tha'laba
was also known as Ayman, was one of the most beloved people to the Prophet ﷺ. She became his bondswoman after the death of his mother, and he freed her the day that he married Khadija.
So Ayman actually took care of the Prophet as a child. She was basically like his nanny, you can say. And he loved her like he loved his mother. Okay?
She was one of the principal field nurses among the women companions, attending the battles of Uhud, Khaybar, and Hunayn. The Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr and Umar used to visit her. The Prophet used to refer to her as my mother after my mother. And when he looked at her, he would say, "This is the last surviving member of my immediate family." She was a black woman of Ethiopian descent.
Allahu Akbar. There's something that comes up after this as well. These two,
Zayd ibn Haritha and Ayman, married, and she bore him a son, Usama. He was one of the most beloved of all people to the Prophet ﷺ. He was sometimes affectionately referred to as the son of Muhammad ﷺ. He was also called Hibbi Rasulullah, the beloved of the beloved of the Messenger of Allah. Like his mother and father, he was black. Hence the lad the Prophet ﷺ adopted and appended to his lineage. The boy he affectionately called his son, and the woman he would call his mother after the death of his biological mother were all black people. This is the most powerful testimony one can give as to the attitude of the Prophet ﷺ towards race.
So this is not, how people pontificate about race. This is real life, like in practice. Like somebody may say, I'm not racist. Okay, like how many black people do you have in your close, circle? None? What about you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The closest people to him were from that circle. And that wasn't necessarily popular. Again, they're all from the slave class. This is not like a noble class in society. He was going against cultural norms and the stereotypes that people had of that class. These were some of the earliest Muslims. Okay?
Similar affection and honor were afforded to many other black companions. The prophetic practice regarding race was not confined to his personal life and associations. Rather, in his public policies, he took measures which designated the highest offices to some of his black companions. We have mentioned the many commands he entrusted to Zayd ibn Haritha. The last force he dispatched before his death was placed under the command of Usama ibn Zayd. Usama had under his command some of the most eminent companions, including Abu Bakr and Umar.
This is at the time the Prophet ﷺ is on his deathbed. He tells them, Amdu ba'tha Usama. This is like one of the last statements he makes. Make sure you dispatch the expedition of Usama. That name Usama comes from this man. That's why that name is special for us in Islam. Because of Usama ibn Zayd, that the Prophet ﷺ loved. You know how old he was when he was a commander? 17. He has Abu Bakr and Umar under his command. Right? Okay?
He was given that command despite his young age, mentioned variously as being between 16 to 20 years old. The most esteemed public office in Islam in terms of its otherworldly reward is the position of Mu'adhin, the caller to the congregational prayer. Bilal was the first and principal holder of this position during the prophetic period. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ designated the Ethiopians as being especially suited for that office. He said, the call to prayer is for the Ethiopians. Bilal was also the Prophet ﷺ's treasurer. He was referred to by many of the companions as our leader. Jabir relates that Umar used to say, Abu Bakr was our leader and he liberated our leader, referring to Bilal.
And the word used is Sayyid.
It is well known that Bilal was a black man of Ethiopian lineage.
Okay, so I have already told you in class that I don't like saying Ethiopian because Ethiopia is a nation state, and more technically the Habasha at the time of the Prophet ﷺ was, you can say, East Africa. And the empire at that time was the empire of Aksum, which is in modern day Eritrea. So like you have to just be careful because sometimes, and for the last 30 years, there's been great civil war between Eritrea and Ethiopia. So if you say Ethiopia, you're going to offend the Eritreans. So just make it general and say East Africa because that includes that whole area. And there are some narrations that say it was somewhere in Somalia as well. So you're going to get another issue there as well. So at any rate, this hadith 54 about adhan to the Ethiopians. Go ahead. What does it say? Political authority. Can you take us to that? Jami' al-Tirmidhi, this hadith 39-36.
Political authority lies with the Quraysh. The judiciary is best executed by the Ansar. The call to prayer is for the Ethiopians, and the trust is best kept by the people of the Yemenis.
As that's the tribe.
The Yemenis.
Okay.
What about the Yemenis?
Trust.
The policy of deeper implications for Muslim society during the prophetic epoch was his practice of marrying his black companions to the women of aristocratic Arab families. These marriages were intentionally designed to rid his society of attitudes about class and race-based bigotry. Had this prophetic practice endured, many of the racist attitudes plaguing some contemporary Muslim societies may have been alleviated. An example of such marriages is that of Zayd ibn Haritha, who we have previously mentioned, to Zainab bint Jahish before her marriage to the Prophet ﷺ. Zainab was an exceedingly beautiful and refined Arab woman of noble lineage and exalted character. She was from the Prophet ﷺ's very family, being the daughter of his paternal aunts, Umayma. Here she was being called to marry a black man, who had formerly been enslaved. She and her brother resisted the idea of marrying Zayd until she was addressed by a revelation. It is not becoming of a believing man or woman once God and His Messenger ﷺ have decreed an affair to have an option to follow their own choice.
That's an ayah from the Quran. وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَن يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ. The reason of revelation is this. The Prophet instructed her, you're marrying this man. And that wasn't culturally acceptable. So then Allah had to address them. Okay?
After learning of this verse, Zainab was pleased and submitted to marry Zayd. Their marriage addressed both the class and race-based prejudices that were prevalent in Arabian society at that time. Another marriage of this type was
Okay, let's pause here. Can you read us the hadith?
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. الملك في قريش والقضاء في الأنصار والأذان في الحبشة والأمانة في الأزد.
Does it say the level of authenticity?
Hassan.
Hassan. Okay.
And what was the name used for Yemenis?
Azd is a Yemeni tribe. Al-Azd.
And is this universal? So even till today, does this still apply?
I don't know. We would have to go back to the commentaries of that.
Because I know you mentioned yesterday, at least for political leadership attributed to Quraysh, that would kind of still come about with the arrival of the Mahdi.
It would come about, but again, you have to remember that this was no longer in use for the last several centuries. So the Ottoman Empire was never the Khalifa officially. They're called Sultan for a reason. Because in Sunni theology, the Khalifa could only be from Quraysh. Before the Ottomans, there was the Salajiqa, which are also like people from that same area. They're Turkic tribes. And they would basically be the guardians, but the Khalifa was from Quraysh. The Khalifa was a ceremonial role, kind of like you know how they say in constitutional monarchies. So like the UK has the Queen. She's not running the operation. Who's running the operation? The Parliament or the Prime Minister, right? So likewise, the Khalifa became a ceremonial role after the sack of Baghdad. It remained for like maybe, I want to say 300-400 years, but the Khalifa was simply a ceremonial role, and the Sultan was actually in charge, whether the Sultan in Egypt or the Sultan in Turkey. But the prophetic model will come back. That's what we believe in. So that's why the Mahdi is going to be from Quraysh. Like most of these Muslim leaders, do you think any of them from Quraysh? Only 2 claim to be from Quraysh, which is Jordan and Morocco. Everybody else, God knows what their lineage is. Let me not go there because then, But if you ask Arabs, they tell you they don't have lineage. And that's actually a bad word it means bastards, basically. I won't say that because I'm not going to get into that stuff. Regardless of how much you may despise someone, right? Yeah.
So when you were talking about the ceremonial Khulafas, they were from the Quraysh?
Of course, yes, they were.
But they were just puppets?
Not puppets, no. Just a ceremonial role because that's what people believed in. You can only have a Khalifa from that.
So you're saying that people actually respected this hadith and then they kept the...
Yes, that's Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah Aqidah. That's the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. The only people who allowed the Khalifa to not be from Quraysh were the Khawarij in Islamic history. Which is very interesting because like if you look at it right now, it's like everybody's Khawarij, But also people no longer claim to be Khalifa. And also people no longer want the Khilafah because that's politically incorrect. Because Khilafah means you stop borders. It means all the Muslims are under one banner. And nobody wants that. In fact, the Muslims will be the first ones to fight that. No, man, I got oil in this country. These poor people, I don't want to give them nationality. So that's a big issue altogether. So inshallah, if we get another chance, we got a few more pages, which is the marriages. But again, this was actually huge. The marriage of Zainab to Zayd. This is the only marriage explicitly mentioned in the Quran again. Because of Zayd, and the divorce was also institutionalized, and the new marriage, meaning Allah commanding the Prophet to marry Zainab, was all involved in this whole thing. So that's marriage of a cousin, and that's also marriage of your adopted son's former wife, because you can never marry your son's wife. Your biological son's wife, she becomes your mahram forever, even after he divorces her. Of course, this is very ironic for people. People don't understand this. But I told them, like, when people get divorced, I said, the family is always her family. Her father-in-law will always be mahram to her. Even though her husband is complete ajnabi.
That is so interesting.
Of course. And also his mother-in-law, he's mahram to her forever. And if she has children from another marriage, they're mahram to him forever. But of course, you look at our community and how it is. It's like after divorce, it's like we hate each other. Your family, you have rights on each other. But we got a lot of learning to do, people.
Were the Umayyads also considered Khalifas?
Yes, of course.
Because they're from Quraysh.
They're from Quraysh. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. It was nice knowing you, coming to you in a day where I'm not supposed to come to you. Anyway, you can finish the article on your own as well. But if you want, we can read it tomorrow. We can finish it off tomorrow. Do you guys prefer that?
Yeah.
Before we start our qasas?
Yeah.
Let's finish it. We just have a few more pages, inshallah. If you can read ahead, in case you have questions, then read ahead and highlight your questions, inshallah. And by the way, don't internalize this thing by saying, I wish I was black. After you read all the virtues of black people, you're like, man, I got the wrong end of the stick. I want to be black now. Be happy the way Allah made you. That's the difference between believers and those who don't have belief. Assalamu alaikum.
When?
Like 11:15.
Okay, let's do 11.
11?
Yeah. Because I was even considering
The bakery?
Did you eat?
Yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah. Or just
Not really. Just 'cause I like some snacks.
I can't go to it. So we either.
After.
Yeah, no, but that was my
Yeah, I want to guarantee that, you know, we make it tonight. Because I was honestly like worried that you're gonna say something. Not worried, but I was just considering time. And then even Sheikh Mohammed, I'm like walking up and he catches me. He's like, "What are you doing? Like you're not supposed to be here." So I was thinking that maybe we might actually have to consider leaving earlier, like at 10.
I mean, I'm checking traffic right now.
Yeah, actually that's a good idea. That gives us an idea. And we should leave. But then traffic does fluctuate.
See, Waze though, like you could
Which one do you
use
want
Waze,
to
you can plan it, and it'll judge it based on
He said he's gonna go on the
like what traffic you usually like around that time
I mean, you said.
from the distance.
Maybe we can schedule
We
it.
can do that.
Can you?
I could do that, and then we could just leave a few minutes early in case there's like an accident or something like that.
What is it called? Federal Building?
I just use the address.
Federal Bureau? No. Federal Bureau of Investigation.
It's 11,000 Whitshire. Wait, no, Whitshire. Wait. Huh?
There you go, bro.
Yeah.
What are these secretaries?
There is people.
They're interviews.
But I don't know.
Group R.
The consulate of Czech Republic is like right there.
What?
That's so strange. Who are you people? Los Angeles passport.
So this says, yeah.
Yeah,
This says if we want to get there by 12:30 from here, leave by 11:28. So like 11 should be fine.
I don't know.
Did you time it? Or is there a way to put like a timing? Like
Yeah.
40.
Yeah. So I oh shoot.
So
So I say,
set
like, to get
depart
from-
to arrival time. Depart at.
40. No, that's the other one.
So
Hold on, let's do arrival. Arrive by.
at 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30. No. We need to do 12.
So this is it.
Oh, yours
Because
is
mine
12:30.
is at 12:30. She said be there half an hour ahead so that you can go through security and all that.
44, 45.
PM, right? Yeah. Set.
46, 47.
Finding best route. Typically 15 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Leave around 10:30.
Stairs. How long we stay with?
Is it 10:30?
10:30.
What, there's
Yeah, just play it safe.
What is the
advertisement for my K and the NFL. So I just like to come. I needed a laptop.
Their peanut butter in case anyone has peanut allergy.
Yeah,
And you
Or
just
it's right there.
infected the air in the classroom.
Oh yeah, you can put it there.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Taylor did.
Yeah, it has a pen. So it's like it's the one thing they use on the screen.
I don't think, no.
Did
You
you
can't
take
touch
them?
this area. They look homemade, so.
Yeah. Look,
Like fifth year.
yeah.
Did we start this one yesterday?
Can you run behind
Yeah.
the headset?
We finished
Is this
and Shafat.
Sure.
Oh, finish chocolate. Wow. I like chocolate.
You printed out the itinerary?
Yeah, I got you.
No, I did.
Did you print out your tickets?
Huh?
Your tickets
What tickets?
for the flight?
That's
the ones
the
that she sent you.
That's the itinerary.
So that's why I was confused.
Yeah. So itinerary is the
So just the flight itinerary?
yeah, just the flight thing. You printed out that email that I sent you?
No.
What did you print out? Communicate this now.
I printed out the itinerary for the trip.
Yani
Like the day to day.
Yani شو the wait, so the thing that I sent you in the email. What did you print out, bro?
I went to the
No,
website.
I'm gonna get mad now.
I went to the we'll go to his sister, ask her to print some stuff. I went on the website. I printed my tickets out, the ones she sent me. And then I went to the website just in case and printed out like the day-to-day itinerary of what we're going to be doing on the trip. So the ones she sent us was just like the flights. But then I also printed out like the day-to-day stuff that we're going to be doing in case they asked about that for some reason.
Like from here to Turkey to Tel Aviv.
No, I mean when we're there, like day one, this is what we're doing. Day two, this is
That's
what
not
we're
an itinerary. You're hilarious.
What do you mean?
That's not. The itinerary is literally has to do with the whole flight.
That is that's like the trip itinerary.
Yeah.
There's a flight itinerary and then there's
Yeah,
like
we
the
need
trip
the flight
itinerary.
heavy. They don't care what we're doing. We're gonna go eat
Other than
shawarma
my- other than
and
my-
have,
other-
you know, knafi at night and salat al-Aqsa in the hotel, you know, continental breakfast. They don't need that, bro.
They okay this time? I didn't see
They
that.
need to know when the heck you busting out of the USA, bro.
Oh, so
Yes,
they're cookies. I was gonna wait for you. Cookies?
They're peanut butter in case you have a peanut allergy.
Who made them? I believe it's Peter. Oh, nice. Brother made them.
Ya Allah. Trust me, I'm gonna take me a cookie before they all disappear.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna wait for you, but then they brought them. Mine did not have chocolate chips. I'm gonna eat for me. Okay.
Shall you made this, brother?
Hey there.
Or no, Swarm by the Sky. No,
What book are you reading from?
Have you heard the word
It's just the Quran.
Qism, yeah.
Is that a commentary?
No, it's
What is a qism?
literally this one.
Wait,
It's,
wait.
do you have to go to the Mass
Category.
Abdul Halim,
So think of it that way.
translation?
Who?
The sky is what?
The Mass Abdul Halim translation.
Split.
Not that
Splitting.
I can
But why
It's
is it,
a more
why is
recent
the
one,
sky before?
and
Because
it's pretty reputable.
active.
A lot of scholars recommend it.
It's a translation,
Yeah, it's a translation,
not a commentary.
not a commentary now. So this version
Because the sky is
It's a
active.
nominal
has parallel Arabic text.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
read
So the
Arabic
sky
and also
and then the word.
right next to it there's the translation.
What had a.
It's good for Sheikh Ahmed's class.
When did you guys begin that?
Oh, wait.
The text is what? Or is it a workbook or a text? I'm not sure.
It's a text in technically a text and workbook.
Mm-hmm.
And we started it, I want to say,
On
last week.
Oh, last week? Oh, it hasn't been like the past year? Cause, oh,
It's fairly recent.
oh, alhamdulillah, okay, that's good.
Yeah, we've only covered 2 surahs. So,
Okay, and then the week before that, the first week, you guys did what? Did you guys do the Lisan al-Quran or did you do this?
we did both.
Both?
Mixed
Oh,
up.
it's so far
Yeah.
Were you part of seminary before?
Yeah. Technically, I'm supposed to be in, I think 4th year now. Technically, had I not,
Okay.
when did it begin? I think I began in 2016. And I finished that year. And then I completed like half the second year. Before they even opened up the new building over there, they were doing Ahmed Sakr. They went to Ahmed Sakr's masjid right down the street. And then they moved in, and then I ended there. It was just kind of just two conflicting schedules. It was very conducive.
So what does that mean?
But alhamdulillah, since I have a more empty schedule, I just wanted to continue. At least finish the second year. At least to get the 8.
This
Inshallah.
guy.
Are you going to school right now?
Right now, not at the moment.
Okay.
Right now. I did finish community college. I just want to try to get a degree. How about you?
I recently graduated like 2 weeks ago.
With a degree?
Yeah, from UCLA.
UCI. Oh, mashallah. A lot of Muslims there.
A lot. Yeah, it's good enough.
MSc is good.
It's
You were joining there?
No, I live in Irvine, so I was commuting.
Alhamdulillah. What did you get a degree in?
Okay.
In informatics.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's not like that widely known. It's in the same school as computer science and
How do you pronounce it?
informatics. My major specifically, you are studying the interplay between humans and computers and how to design computers or softwares and products
So,
to make them more usable for humans, essentially.
it means expansion.
What's like an example you give?
You know that
I mean, like literally anything.
talking about the dog.
For instance,
About how
if you were
the dog
on a
expands its legs.
website, how is it displayed? How is it designed? And
But yeah, you
depending
get the
on
point.
the design of the product, either the user will successfully navigate through the site or they will somehow fail to
So
do
what's the main
complete
distinction
task.
between computer science and informatics?
I mean, technically you can go into software engineering role with both degrees. I know some people that do that. So it ultimately depends. I think for informatics, it leverages design a lot more and understanding those processes, whereas computer science is a lot more theoretical, focusing on theory, heavy emphasis on algorithms, things of that nature.
So informatics is almost like a more practical approach.
I mean, there's still some theory, but it's more so focused on the design aspect.
Would you encourage informatics over computer science?
I mean, ultimately it depends on the person. Yeah, I wouldn't like. But it just some people enjoy, CS. I personally did not. I originally started out.
How does the job translate though? So someone working in computer science, what kind of job would they do as opposed to someone doing informatics? If they ended with that degree, they didn't pursue anything else.
Computer science, we could probably go into any like software engineering role. That's kind of what people typically do. I don't know if there's anything else. There's probably software engineering. I think with informatics there's a little more breadth, so you can explore different fields. Stuff that I'm interested in is understanding how essentially like how users approach software products, so that kind of understand the psychological aspect of how people
to take 2 luggages.
You have trouble with
What the heck am I gonna do with 2 luggages?
You ever have trouble
It's like,
with
Should I purchase
you know,
those?
it's kind of interesting, you know, consumer
Snacks?
psychology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
So
that.
yeah, you can go through like customer experience, user experience.
Oh, you know, interesting. I read a book about kind of like that. Target, you know, like they have consumer psychology, but they also have people that have separate like warehouses working, trying to target something called the power of habit.
And then just a few weeks ago, one of the other sisters,
the author does
her charger stopped working.
where the market had
Just randomly.
become
So Chef Jamil's charger,
that
you could say was
users that they
perhaps a little old, but the sister's wasn't.
Mine is really pregnant at the time.
6 months maybe.
Oh, they complained to
And the
her.
product complaint, yeah, exactly. So I mean,
That's how it does it.
that would be more towards the marketing side.
And then his daughter ended up being pregnant. Was that the same story?
She ended up being pregnant.
She ended up being
Yeah, she ended up being
Yeah, I don't know. I
pregnant.
forgot where I heard about this. I think it was in a marketing class.
The power of habit from it, or like they probably like quoted that book, but it's
Charging?
so,
Okay.
The power of
But
habit.
now it's actually.
That's crazy. Even with that capability of Target, like being able to, specifically target you with the things that you're eventually going to start needing,
yeah, that's
they're not doing all that great.
interesting.
Yeah.
I think because almost every company has some division that kind of focuses on
The marketing, the target, yeah, of course. When you're at that level, you depend on that. That's why statistics is the biggest thing right now.
I want to see
Like it's literally all they talk about in business right now. So all of our classes is literally like doing studies and statistics, and in hopes of basically maximizing like sales to that target population. But what is it called? The power of habit.
Yeah, I actually noticed it's interesting when I read the book, someone recommended it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I read it before it kind of became common, so then I read it, and then I noticed books I read, I didn't see much people, I never seen people read it. Then I'm like, why is every student and his mother reading this book? Like, what's going on? I know this professor started assigning that book, especially in community college. A lot of classes read it.
Are you a business major?
No, I think inshallah marketing.
Marketing, which is in
I'll take
business.
it and
Yeah.
check it.
Yeah, I'm doing marketing.
Like, you're getting a deal so you can do what I want.
They'll like it
No,
together.
it's one in cost influence and four months.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, that's interesting. I need to apply
If
this.
you go in the store, maybe apps would look like I tried this experiment with one of my friends' charger.
Yeah,
I can't tell what's going on.
in terms of application or in terms of
Application
what?
and even program what they offer.
Yeah.
I wanted to go somewhere local. I know between called Polycom, but soon.
Fullerton, yeah. Look at the
Because Fullerton's number one.
business. Yeah, it is. It is number one business. What I would do is I would look at the courses, like all the different electives that you have for business marketing, the catalog basically, for like
Oh, okay.
all those courses when you want to do your major in, when you want to do your emphasis in marketing.
Yeah.
Those courses, I would take a look at them and see which
Are
ones
you
cater
saying
to
any
you.
like prerequisites and stuff or no?
So what do you have done right now?
No, I'm done.
Business? Do you have a lower division?
Wait, are you talking about like degrees or general advice? I'm finished community college. I just want to transfer now.
Oh, so how you're transferring into university?
Yeah.
Oh. And basically accounting 1 and accounting 2.
Actually, I had a complete change in mind.
Oh, so you didn't do anything in business?
No. I actually wanted
Oh, you're gonna start from brand new, yeah?
I mean, I don't know if I have to.
No, yeah, you
I didn't do any prerequisites in college, but I just wanted to try. I didn't get an AA, that's what you're asking. I didn't get an AA.
Yeah, so you didn't like specifically take like the community college business courses. Yeah, so those would be considered your lower division, right? You're gonna have to do accounting 1 and 2, econ 1 and 2. When I say 1 and 2, because there's like a first class, but it's either like 101 and 102. And then business writing.
So you can't just take the lower division when you're in the college, the
Oh yeah, you can. That's where I did all my lower division. Because I switched into business and intrastate fully.
Okay, so I'll be able to learn all that in the 2 years, like if I'm getting a degree in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the life and no job, then yeah, sure. I mean, so it all depends. I mean, like, Because lower division itself, that's 2 semesters worth unless you go like way above 12 units. It depends on you. I mean, if you don't need to work.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Because you're gonna go through like all the lower division stuff, then you're gonna do all the business core classes that every business major has to take, and then you declare your business.
It's better if you take all the lower division in the community and you transfer with those.
No, it does not matter. It does not matter, depending on unless financial aid is a concern. Unless financial aid is a concern.
Because it's the same work. All the
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. Ahmed, what were you saying earlier?
Me?
Aywa?
About what?
Oh, you're allowed to take 2 luggages? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 luggages.
Yeah.
Have you had the need for 2 luggages?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
It's excessive.
Way too much.
I take a double package.
Is there anything that you need from
Clothes.
Yeah, right. But it's like, is there anything in Philistine that like you're like, oh, I have to get it from Philistine? Well, no. Okay, tell me. We have a bunch of that. We actually have a bunch of that.
I do.
I travel too much to say that. You could get gifts for your future wife.
Oh yeah,
and then when you get married, you could tell her that you were thinking about her even before you got married. You know? Yeah.
Really shakes that game.
I'm gonna tell her this is gonna be a substitute for the mahar because I can't.
You guys asked about next week. Next week, you will have class. You will have teachers. Class is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is off. You wanted July 4th off, so we gave you July 4th off.
No, we didn't want that.
You're not going to be here anyway. Either way, you have it off at this point. So his class will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? No class Thursday.
But there's class Friday? Yeah?
That's a phenomenal question.
Because a lot of people are giving me long weekends.
So now you want Friday off?
No.
La ilaha illallah. The way she phrases the question is as if she wants it off. She said most people are giving it off.
I would like it off because that's less days for us to catch up.
Yeah. But you said Monday, Thursday, Wednesday.
It was only 4 days to get.
Sorry.
La, Thursday is off for sure. Thursday is off. You know what? For some reason, Friday slipped my mind. So Monday, Friday would be great if it's off. You guys can talk it out, but Monday through Wednesday is class for sure. Okay?
Who's taking?
Huh?
Who's going to be teaching us?
There will be class. There will be class.
It's a surprise.
خير الكلام ما قل ودل. Right? The best of speech is that which is small and straight to the point. ما قل ودل. Straight. نعم. جيد. جيد. Okay. Is the TV on? Anyone know?
Yes, sir.
It's on? Gee, okay. Iman, just so you know, I mean I don't usually have 2 in one day, it just happened, but I had earlier the one again from Starbucks.
Okay, so we're at 500.
No, and it said, if I remember correctly, that's what I want to talk to you about. It said 350. Yeah, just so you know, because you started at 2,000 last week. That's what you.
But that was an exaggeration.
That's That's what we call fat shaming. Okay. Because when you said that, I was like, oh shoot. I was like, why did I do that in the morning? Right, then it was 500.
I say 350, 500, and I think 2,000. Essentially.
Okay.
So.
It's just... Yeah, because I get the tall, it says calories, 360 calories to be exact.
Is that from Starbucks' website?
It's from the app.
Oh, okay. See, I got it from a calorie counting website.
For it to be most authentic, you have to go to the source of who makes it.
Yeah, but there's also studies that are, there are experiments that show that the calories that fast food restaurants give are not accurate.
We're going to stick with 360. I would hope there's not a discrepancy of, what was it? 1,640 calories. Okay, if we can give them a leeway of 100.
That was an exaggeration, like 100%.
That's not an exaggeration. You cannot say 2,000.
There were sensitive people here. I will be more careful.
You blew my mind when you said 2,000. I was trying not to show emotion, but I was like, inside I was dying. I was like, oh my god, did I just consume 2,000 calories? I was like, I have to fast for the rest of the day.
Rest of the month.
I was like, what am I gonna do? I hadn't had breakfast. I was like, man, lunch, dinner, I gotta skip. So I was very happy when I saw the 360 in the morning.
That's real.
Well, I'll be honest, man. I don't know about you guys. When I was young, I would not look twice at calories. Like the concept of looking at calories was non-existent, right? But as and I could eat like 3/4 of a pizza and not gain weight. But now, subhanAllah, I eat one piece of pizza. It's like
what happened?
That metabolism.
It just.
You're in your 30s. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but I'm not even joking.
In your 20s?
Like no, like when I was in high school, I remember like I would just eat half a pizza.
You were growing, so.
I did like just eat half a pizza, right? I mean now when I eat I still grow, but just not the same way. But like it was just like nothing. Like I was not quote unquote. I would never eat healthy. There was no concept of it, right?
It's hard.
But like literally, like there was then like at some point, late 20s, early 30s, like dude, everything I eat just you feel it. I'm telling you.
When did this start happening? When you turned
He's like, when did I expect this?
When did it start happening? Like when did it really like just? I'd say like in the late 20s.
Late 20s, huh?
Like it started. Like you just know it slows down. Like you don't.
Torn meniscus. Yeah, I'm already there, bro. My knee went bad. What the heck?
I mean,
I have it wrapped up right now, but I think I don't want meniscus basically. I think I still have to get it.
Like the concept of like eating greens or eating salad or eating lettuce, like never ever done it in my life.
Okay, see, I'm not that bad. I can do a salad.
Yeah. No, I've still never ate a salad in my life. In my life, I've never. No, wallahi, like I've never.
Dude, salad's
Really?
though.
Not even like it's a mission when they have like salad.
No, I walk the other way.
Both like that?
Yeah, straight.
See, but out of salad is a
Out of
lot more
salad's
flavorful
amazing,
than like
yeah.
white salad. White people's salad is just like leaves.
Yeah, that's right.
Some carrots, so why not?
Shredded
Whole,
carrots.
it's like whole cucumber, whole tomato. Even dice it. At least Arabs do the job.
Fatima, if you're curious what we missed, we verified that the cookie crumble frappuccino from Starbucks is not 2,000 calories like Iman claimed. Rather, it's only 360.
We did that last time already.
Yeah, but she went from 360 to 500.
Oh.
But today I verified that it was 360.
Okay.
So it's
But that's also the rate.
to be authentic in our information. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we're just gonna translate, right? We're gonna translate and use kind of the meanings that we've understood from what we've gone over. ويل للمطففين. ابدأ يا مريم. ابدأي. لا ليس قال المؤلف ماذا تقولين؟ ويل للمطففين. ترجمي.
Destruction to the مطففين.
نعم, you're lucky you don't translate مطففين.
مطففين is the جمع of مطفف. It means those people who shorten in their measure and weight.
نعم. الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون. أحمد.
Those who, when measuring for other people, they
يعني selling.
In selling those, yeah.
Sorry, in buying. Actually, this is buying.
Oh, that's right. And those who, when purchased from other people, they get full measure.
نعم. وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون. فاطمة.
And when they sell by weight or measure, they lessen it or shorten it.
ألا يظن أولئك أنهم مبعوثون. منى.
Do they not think that they'll be resurrected?
ليوم عظيم. نجيب.
On a great day.
يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين. ديلن.
The day in which people will stand before the Lord of all creation.
كلا إن كتاب الفجار لفي سجين. ماز.
When like the kitab of the bad people is.
What's the kitab?
The book of deeds.
Okay.
The book of deeds are in
Of the book of deeds of who?
Of the bad people.
Of the bad people is?
In like the lowest pits of hell.
لفي سجين. It's in a low place. Good. وما أدراك ما سجين.
That is not changed or
altered. That's what you right. ويل يومئذ للمكذبين. Dalen.
Woe on that day to those who deny.
الذين يكذبون بيوم الدين. Adam.
Who deny the day of recompense.
وما يكذب به إلا كل معتد أثيم. فاطمة.
And who will deny it except all of the ones who are filled with great sins or doing great sins?
أثيم. Excessive sin. معتد. Huh?
Against the laws, who disobey the laws.
Yeah, what's the English? We use one English word, huh?
Transgressor.
Transgressor. Every sinful transgressor. Right? Who will deny it except every sinful transgressor. إذا تتلى عليه آياتنا قال أساطير الأولين. Dalen.
When our verses are recited upon them, they say these are the tales of the past.
نعم. كلا بل ران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون. أحمد.
Nay, but rather that على قلوبهم, over their hearts, will be a cover from the evil actions they have done.
نعم. ران على قلوبهم, their hearts have become covered or stained. ما كانوا يكسبون, that which they used to do.
Could you read the question? Why is it that when we're doing a recitation of the surah or whenever Rana comes in, Rana, there's a stop.
There's a stop. That's how it has reached us. That's part of the
So
sanad.
it's specific to the word Rana? Because
La, it's specific to. It's not specific to the word Rana. It's specific to the recitation of certain verses. Also happens in Surah Al-Qiyamah,
yeah.
right?
But it's the same word.
Yeah. It's not something special about the word Rana, right? It's not like Rana causes you to, right? Huh? Right, in Qiyamah it's a different word. Yeah. I'm just saying that the concept of that happening mid-ayah also appears in Surah Al-Qiyamah. We did this? Yes. جيد. Who went last right now? Rana ala qul, huh? Who just went? منى. كلا إنهم عن ربهم يومئذ لمحجوبون.
I think I missed this statement. Should I still try?
نعم.
Rather, they are to their Lord on that day in need.
In?
In need.
Not in need. Fatima? Isbiri.
No, I didn't say anything.
I know, but like you started.
I remember it, but I don't. Like it's
Mahjubun. What type of word is that?
Oh, is it like
Uh-huh.
like covered?
Partitioned off, screened off.
Oh.
They are screened off from their Lord, right?
Hijab.
Naam. Kalla over here. Emphasis. Emphasis.
So what's kalla then?
Okay, so kalla is used as a word of what they say in Arabic, zajrun or rad'un. Like sometimes as a reprimand or a rebuke, and sometimes even used to negate something of the past. Right? And to add emphasis. Right? لَمَحْجُوبُونَ, that so they will be from their Lord, partitioned or screened off. فهمتم? Imam al-Shafi'i, he says that in this ayah there is an evidence, there's a dalil that the believers, they will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. Right? How does he come to that understanding? Right? Just like if I said to all of you, those that come on time today will receive full points for participation in attendance. What do you huh?
It's the other way around.
La, I'm just giving. What do you understand about those that come late? They won't, right? This is called mafhumul mukhalafa, understanding the opposite. I say something, from it you extract or understand, interpret something else. كَلَّا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. So if those people will be partitioned off, that means there will be people that will see Allah. Yes?
That's only if it's like emphasized, right? In the event that it's not emphasized, the opposite can't be, I guess.
La. You mean because of the kalla, or?
Yeah, like.
No, it doesn't have to be.
For sure, the people that come on time tomorrow will receive full points. That concludes that, people that don't come in on time
won't receive full points. Yeah.
But like, if
it doesn't have to be for sure.
Emphasis wasn't there, like.
No, it doesn't. No.
Okay.
ثم إنهم لصال الجحيم. مريم. Then they will be burnt in hell. نعم. ثم يقال هذا الذي كنتم به تكذبون. نجيب.
Then they will be told, this is that which you used to deny.
نعم. Do we want to do that? In Surah Al-Tur, Allah says, just so we understand, Allah says very something similar, that they will be told, هذه النار التي كنتم بها تكذبون. هذه النار, that this is the hellfire, التي كنتم بها تكذبون, right? That you used to deny. Then he says, إصلوها. Isloha from this verb, which means now what? What would isloha mean? Burn in it. Right? Huh?
Something similar,
No.
yes.
Isloha, burn in it. Then he says, فاصبروا لا, sorry. هذه النار التي كنتم بها تكذبون. He says after that, أفسحر هذا أم أنتم لا تبصرون. أفسحر هذا, what does that mean?
Is this magic?
Like, do you think this, because this is something you used to deny. أفسحر هذا, is this magic? أم أنتم لا تبصرون, or do you still not see? Like, do you still not see the reality of the matter? Then he says, إصلوها, which we said, burn in it. Then he says something, فاصبروا أو لا تصبروا, which means سواء عليكم. It's the same. اصبروا أو لا تصبروا. Be patient or don't be patient. سواء عليكم. It's the same. Doesn't matter. إنما تجزون ما كنتم تعملون. تجزون, you are being recompensed, right? ما كنتم تعملون, for that which you used to do, right? Same ideas, right? كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين. يا منى.
Surely the book of the, how do you translate Allah?
The righteous.
The righteous ones are in heights.
نعم. لفي عليين. لفي عليين. Some of the mufassirin, they say عليين, right, is mushtaqun. The word mushtaqun means it's derived from. to derive from the word ulu. What does ulu mean?
High.
Huh?
High.
High, extremely high, right? They say it is called illiyin, some of the mufassirin they say, for either one of two reasons. One, either because it is a cause or a reason for people being raised to high stations in paradise. Meaning the book itself, right, we're told it's in illiyin because it's a cause or a reason for people being raised in paradise. Fahimtum? Make sense? Or they say that it's called illiyin, right, because the book itself is so extremely high, right, and it's been mentioned in some hadith that it will be raised to the point that it's taht al-arsh, it is under the throne of Allah. So it is called illiyin because it is so extremely high. Do we understand the two? Right? Okay. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا عِلِّيُّونَ Maz.
And what will let you know what this high place is?
نعم. كتاب مرقوم. كتاب مرقوم. إيمان. A? Prescribed detailed book. Right? Nothing is removed from it, nothing is changed in it, altered. يشهده المقربون. يشهده المقربون. Najib?
The close ones witness it.
The close ones witness it.
Is that referring to the angels?
Naam. The close ones witness it. There's a some of the mufassirin, they mention that when the soul of the believer, when the believer passes away, right, and the soul of the believer is taken out of his body, that it goes up to the heavens, right? And basically it goes up through the heavens and the doors of the heavens open for it, and the angels, they receive the soul of the believer with glad tidings, right? And they go up until basically they reach the arsh, right? And then a type of parchment, a type of something that is written on is presented, or it comes out, right? فَيُكْتَبُ فِيهِ, and it is written upon, وَيُخْتَمُ بِالنَّجَاةِ, and it is sealed with salvation, meaning the person will be saved from reckoning and punishment, right? So they say this is the tafsir of يَشْهَدُهُ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ, that those close angels, they witness it. Okay? إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ لَفِي نَعِيمٍ. Adam.
The righteous will be in pleasure.
Yeah, indeed the righteous will be in pleasure. عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ يَنْظُرُونَ. Dalen.
Upon couches looking around them at the blessings.
نعم. على الأرائك ينظرون. Upon high couches looking around at the blessings. تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم. Najib.
They know.
لا تعرف, you know.
You know that their face, looking at rewards.
Maz?
It was radiant bliss.
No, تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم. We need someone to do it justice. Dalen?
You will see in their faces the
No,
radiance.
not you. If you were to look at their
Or
faces,
if you were to look at them,
you will recognize in their
you will
faces.
recognize in their faces
That's
the
we're reading
radiance.
into that. إذا رأت, right? إذا رأيت, right? وجوههم. That if you saw their faces, you would recognize in their faces نضرة النعيم.
The radiance of the blessings.
فهمتم? تعرف في وجوههم, you would recognize in their faces, meaning if you saw them, you would see the radiance of bliss. يسقون من رحيق مختوم. Maryam.
They will be drinking from the.
Not they will be drinking.
They will be given drinks from the sealed nectar.
From the sealed nectar. Define sealed. Explain sealed.
Nobody has ever drank from it.
None. No, that they will drink from rahiq, which is a good, delicious drink that no one has ever drank from before. ختامه مسك وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون. منى.
Like its ending is
What's ending?
Allah.
Fatima.
The ending of the drink is misk, which is also like a saying to say that it's like the best part of it.
Naam. ختامه مسك, like the ending of the drink is very fragrant, very delicious. وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون. Fatima.
And in that,
What's that?
The break.
Continue.
Ending.
Ahmed, وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون.
And in all of that has been basically described to
نعم
you,
للفوز بهذا, to be victorious or to be successful by all of this. لذلك وفي ذلك, in that, meaning all of these blessings that have been mentioned. فليتنافس
let the competitors compete.
أحسنت. Let the competitors compete. المتنافسون, those that compete, right? So let the competitors فليتنافس, compete.
Like towards good.
نعم.
But then why put, like, what is the significance of having that and then again do ومزاجه من تسنيم, talk about the drink again, like it's a mix of tasneem from the spring and everything.
To keep, this is like the way the Quran is, like it'll just go back to talking about the blessings. Dalen,
It would be mixed with tasneem,
what was it?
the drink.
Which is?
Rahiq and Makhtum.
Rahiq will be mixed with tasneem. What can you tell us about?
It is
Like the best part, or it's the best part, it's the best type of rahiq. Right? If you remember, we took that the rahiq that is mixed with tasneem is the best type of rahiq. عينا يشرب بها المقربون. نجيب.
Therein the close ones.
لا عينا. Okay, go ahead. Listen. There.
Springs?
No, the whole thing. The whole thing. عينا يشرب بها المقربون.
The close ones drink from springs, from these springs.
يعني you're like missing a few keywords. Maryam. What's عينا?
Spring.
Okay, what's it describing? Okay, so someone say that.
So the spring of the
Tasneem is a spring or a river.
and then the drink from it, they will drink.
The close ones drink.
From which the close ones will drink.
Tasneem is a spring, a river that the close ones drink from. هذا الذي نريد, right? Tasneem is a spring, a river that those that are brought close, they drink from it. فهمتم? Where'd it go? Maz. إن الذين أجرموا كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون.
إن الذين أجرموا, indeed those that
Najib.
Surely those in
Ahmed. Go ahead.
Surely those who do good.
No, there's no do good here. There's no do good.
Verily, those criminals who used to laugh at the people who believed. They used to laugh at the people who believed.
Try one more time.
Verily, those criminals used to laugh at the people who believed.
Indeed, those that used to commit crimes. Indeed, those that used to commit crimes used to laugh at the believers or at those that believed. يعني إن الذين أجرموا كانوا يضحكون. They used to laugh. Who at who? من الذين آمنوا. At those who believe. فهمتم? Okay. وإذا مروا بهم يتغامزون. فاطمة.
And when they used to pass by when the believing people used to pass by the criminal people, they used to make like gesturing eye glances.
نعم. وإذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم انقلبوا فكهين. مريم.
And when they returned to their families, they returned joyful, happy.
Joyful, proud. وإذا رأوهم قالوا إن هؤلاء لضالون. نجيب.
They saw them, they would say, indeed, they are lost, misguided.
وما أرسلوا عليهم حافظين. Dalen.
And they were not sent upon the believers as
guardians,
yeah.
right? And you can insert the word like but they were not sent upon huh? Who was not sent, Dayla?
الذين أجرموا.
الذين أجرموا, the disbelievers, the criminals were not sent upon عليهم, upon the believers as guardians. فاليوم الذين آمنوا من الكفار يضحكون. The Adam.
And on this day, the believers are laughing at the disbelievers.
نعم. على الأرائك ينظرون. أحمد.
On their lofty couches, witnessing or looking.
Looking at what?
At their the bliss that they're in.
No.
No. At the kuffar.
Be a little more descriptive.
The people in Jahannam who is laughing.
على الأرائك ينظرون.
What do you mean?
What did he say?
They're sitting on their lofty couches,
Looking.
observing and looking at the kuffar and laughing at them.
الذين أجرموا.
They're looking at them being punished. نعم.
I said in Jahannam.
So I said just be a little more descriptive. هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون. فاطمة.
Is that not the reward for the?
لا لا, it's a rhetorical question.
It's a rhetorical. So hell, is this not the reward? What is the reward?
Or is this the reward?
Is that the reward?
No.
But it's passive.
The reward
It's passive.
given to
Okay, finish.
the disbelievers for that which they used to do.
One more time.
The reward given to the disbelievers for that which they used to do.
That's not a
Is
sentence.
this not the reward?
That's saying it's a question. So like, have they not been rewarded?
There we go. Have they هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون. Have the disbelievers not been rewarded, or have the disbelievers been rewarded? Have the disbelievers been rewarded or repaid for that which they used to do? فهمتم? You guys get the surah now? Yes? Piecing it together? Yes? Would you say that your understanding of the surah increased, hopefully, overall? So, سؤال?
Sorry, what's يفعلون? Is that to know?
To do. يفعلون, to do.
Oh, فعل. Oh.
No. Okay. مستعدون to the next surah? Yes? Okay. إذا السماء انشقت يا منى.
When the sky splits.
When the sky splits. وأذنت لربها وحقت مريم.
So the literal meaning would be like,
لا, don't give me the literal meaning.
so the sky heard and obeyed its Lord. Haqat and Haqat was it's obligatory on it to obey.
Yeah, it had no choice. Yeah.
It had no choice.
وأذنت لربها, meaning it heard the command of its Lord and it obeyed.
And it had no
وحقت, and it had to obey. وإذا الأرض مدت. فاطمة. لا, وإذا الأرض مدت. نجيب.
When the earth is
leveled, expanded, extended. وألقت ما فيها وتخلت. فاطمة.
I don't know what that is. Is that about the noise that the earth makes?
No. What's ألقى?
Is to ignite. Right?
To what? Yeah, okay.
You okay?
وألقت.
I'm describing it.
وألقت ما فيها.
And it throws out that which was buried in it, like the bodies that were buried in it.
وتخلت, and
And it empties itself out.
it empties itself out and just completely relinquishes itself. أحسن. وأذنت لربها وحقت. نجيب.
It listens to its Lord.
And it obeys it. وأذنت لربها, it listens to its Lord and obeys it. وحقت, and
It did not have a choice.
it didn't have a choice, it was obligated. يا أيها الإنسان إنك كادح إلى ربك كدحا فملاقيه. Adam.
Yeah, oh mankind.
Oh human being. Insan, singular.
Oh human being, you are striving a great strife, and you will receive.
You are striving towards
Your Lord.
a great striving exertion. فَمُلَاقِيهِ.
You will meet it.
And you will meet it. What's it?
Your work.
Your work. Or you will meet
Him.
him. Allah. الاثنين يعني. Right? فَمُلَاقِيهِ. You will meet جزاء العمل, the recompense of your actions. Or فَمُلَاقِيهِ. You will meet رب. Right? فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ. Maz.
And you will receive.
As for the one, فَأَمَّا as for the one.
As for the one who receives his.
Who is given.
Who is given his book in his right hand.
فسوف يحاسب حسابا يسيرا. إيمان.
And you will be judged in easy judgment.
Be accounted for an easy accounting. نعم. وينقلب إلى أهله مسرورا. أحمد.
And he will be returned to his family in Jannah very happy.
Very happy. وأما من أوتي كتابه وراء ظهره. مريم.
As for the one who is given the book behind his back.
Behind his back. And we said behind his back. Why?
Because his right hand is shackled to his neck.
No. And his left hand is
Free.
handcuffed. It's shackled. It's shackled. Right. فسوف يدعو ثبورا. فاطمة.
And so he will call out for destruction.
He will call out for destruction. ويصلى سعيرا. نجيب.
Many.
No, not many.
Yes.
ويصلى سعيرا. إنهم لصال الجحيم.
He will burn. He will burn.
Burn. He will burn in Jahim. He will burn in Jahim. Huh? It's one of the names of the hellfire. ويصلى سعيرا. He will burn in a blazing fire. Right? إنه كان في أهله مسرورا. Adam.
He was at one time happy with his family on earth.
He used to be happy with his family. Right? إنه ظن أن لن يحور. Dalen.
He used to know.
He used to think.
He used to think that he would not be. Like recompensed.
ألا يعلم أولئك أنهم مبعوثون.
He looked like he wouldn't be resurrected in probably.
نعم. He thought, he perceived that he would not return, meaning he would not be resurrected. Right? We said the connection is to مطففين كلا إنهم عن ربهم يومئذ لمحجوبون. بلى إن ربه كان به بصيرا. ماز.
Rather, indeed, his Lord is all-seeing, or like ever watchful.
Over him, به. كان به بصيرا. Watching.
Over him, seeing.
Yeah.
But Kana, it's past, right? His Lord was watching him.
True. I
No.
said something else.
Last part. نجيب فلا أقسم بالشفق.
God taking a oath by the.
That just translate.
So I take so I swear by the twilight.
I swear by the twilight. Right? What's the twilight exactly?
The redness of the sun when it sets.
The redness, yes, of the sun when it sets. And the lam is there for?
Emphasis.
Emphasis, and not for?
Negation.
Perfect. وَاللَّيْلِ وَمَا وَسَقْ. Maryam.
The night and what it gathers.
What about the night? What about the night?
It's a dark night.
Like what? Like, wow, the harf atf is indicating what?
While and
Fatima.
swearing.
More swearing. And I swear by the night, وَمَا وَسَقْ. And that which it covers, that which it envelopes. Fatima, وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا اتَّسَقْ.
And there's moon when it is like full.
نعم. لَتَرْكَبُنَّ طَبَقًا عَنْ طَبَقٍ. Mona.
You will encounter like state after state.
نعم. Like what examples?
Richness after poverty.
Poverty after richness. Health after sickness. Sickness after health. Ease after difficulty, difficulty after ease, or weakness after strength, strength after weakness. Naam.
Can we say life after death and death after life for this as well?
Yes, أحوال بعد أحوال, it's encompassing. Right? فما لهم لا يؤمنون Adam.
What is wrong with them that they don't believe?
وإذا قرئ عليهم القرآن لا يسجدون إيمان.
And when the Quran is recited on them, they do not bow or prostrate or respect.
بل الذين كفروا يكذبون. Najib.
Rather, the disbelievers deny.
They deny and they reject, right? والله أعلم بما يوعون. Fatima.
And Allah knows that which they all.
One word left. Hide or conceal. والله أعلم بما يوعون. And Allah is well aware of ما يخفون ويضمرون في قلوبهم. Right?
You own is conceal.
Yes. Huh?
You own.
Yes, conceal. فبشرهم بعذاب أليم. Adam. So it's used here in a sense of okay, so why is glad tidings used here when it's usually used فيما يسر الإنسان, huh? Sarcasm and ridicule. Good. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم أجر غير ممنون. Maryam.
Except those, the ones that believe and do righteous deeds, for them is a recompense or ajr.
Reward, you could say reward here.
Without measure.
لا غير ممنون,
Without ending.
without ending, uninterrupted, right?
Cut off, right?
Yeah, never ever cut off. غير ممنون, ever cut off. Yes.
I have a few questions. First of all, غير ممنون is that an idafa phrase?
ممنون, yeah, غير ممنون is an idafa phrase, yes.
Okay, and غير means never, and
without being.
okay, so never. Okay, without. And then why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to use? Is it the third person he when describing the disbeliever? Is it the disbeliever? And not, oh no, for the ayah لَتَرْكَبُنَّ طَبَقًا عَنْ طَبَقٍ, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use, I guess, like tarkabu being the third person?
Yes, tarkabu is the second person. Like you will all go through states.
Is it you singular or is
No,
it?
it's you singular.
Okay.
Like it's to address
It's
all
you
every-
singular, but to address everyone.
No.
Okay. What is that called?
What do you mean?
Why?
Like he's
It's
saying
not you all. It's like you, one person. Correct.
because the person reading it. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it's as if you're reading it and you're being addressed.
And there's a switch to third person plural for the.
نعم فما لهم لا يؤمنون. What is wrong with them that they don't believe? Okay, فهمتم? Yes? Clear? Yes? We understand these two surahs? Got them down? جيد. أخرجوا قصص النبيين. What's أخرجوا mean? Take out. Extract. Is it warm in the room right now?
day when you came back from the tree,
What?
and then woke up at 3 a.m. and then messaged me. Sorry, just
No, that was
the day you came back.
so I slept early that day too, and I woke up early.
And then you woke up like that. You woke up.
It was not 3. It was about 4. It was 3:45.
I slept at 3 a.m.
Okay, this person keeps messaging me, and it says Nikki.
Just say sorry. This isn't Nikki.
I'm not saying anything because maybe somebody had one person really bothering me.
What if they're trying to find Nikki?
Well, then say, "Are you Nikki?" It just says Nikki.
What if that's in like desperation? It's Nikki.
What if it's a code word for something? I don't know. I don't know.
Just be like, sorry, you have the wrong number. And that's it.
Or I could just ignore.
Hold on a second, guys.
And then where are you?
But what if they're waiting? What if they think that Nikki's mad at them and they're not responding? And the next time they see Nikki,
no.
Nikki will be like, so I'm not talking to you. So you
Oh,
respond.
good. Why do I have to be part of that?
I keep getting messages from them.
Okay, yeah, that's
Church
3:52, so almost 4. All right. I woke up 3:30.
Oh, so you messaged me as soon as you woke up.
Yeah. Because I'm a very good person. I always reply to people as soon as
Okay. Open to page 38. I believe this is where we stopped, correct? Did we do 37 من البئر إلى القصر? Yes, no, maybe
Yeah,
so.
looks familiar.
Okay, because you guys don't know. Go back to 37.
No, I feel like we did it.
We did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have notes and I only wrote notes the second time.
Oh yeah.
No, it is actually. Jade. 37. 37. Go to 37. We won't read it. Under where it says من البئر إلى القصر. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Line 5 and 6. فإذا الدلو ثقيلة فإذا في الدلو غلام. What's this إذا called? Mona.
Is it shop?
لا, it's called something specific. Huh? إذا الفجائية. Which is the إذا of? What's the إذا of what? What's فجائية?
All of a sudden.
Surprise, right? Yeah. إذا الفجائية, the إذا of, like surprise. فإذا الدلو ثقيلة, like amazingly the bucket was heavy, and then all of a sudden, huh? إذا الفجائية. Okay, turn the page to 38. الوفاء والأمانة. اقرأ يا آدم.
From the beginning of the story?
الوفاء والأمانة 38.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think my book is, I have the hardcover, so it doesn't correlate to
It
this.
doesn't? It should.
It's not.
So,
It doesn't
chapter number
correspond.
8.
It's chapter
Chapter
number 8.
8 of Surah Yusuf.
Of Surah Yusuf.
الوفاء
Oh, there you go.
والأمانة.
Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, there you go.
What titles do you see?
Oh, there I found it.
What page is it?
It's page 36.
Okay. Slightly off. Okay. الوفاء والأمانة.
والأمانة وراودت امرأة العزيز يوسف على الخيانة على الخيانة ولكن يوسف أبى وقال كلا أنا لا أخون سيدي إنه أحسن إلي وأكرمني إني أخاف الله وغضبت امرأة العزيز وشكت إلى زوجها وعرف العزيز أن المرأة كاذبة وعرف أن يوسف أمين فقال لزوجه إنك كنت من الخاطئين وعرف يوسف في مصر بجماله وإذا رآه أحد قال ما هذا بشرا إن هذا إلا ملك كريم واشتد غضب المرأة وقالت ليوسف إذا تذهب إلى السجن قال يوسف السجن أحب إلي وبعد أيام رأى العزيز أن يرسل يوسف إلى السجن وكان العزيز يعرف أن يوسف بريء ودخل يوسف السجن
Fatima translate الوفاء والأمانة.
الوفاء
Fatima translate الوفاء والأمانة.
Loyalty and trust.
No. Continue.
Keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, so the wife of the Aziz tried to seduce Yusuf towards betrayal. However, Yusuf refused and he said no.
Kalla, right? So kalla, we said it is like zajrun and rad'un, like you're negating what has come before it, right? With emphasis. To seduce or to entice. على الخيانة. So she tried to seduce him upon betrayal. But she was calling him to her, right? She was trying to seduce him, so she's trying to cause him to betray his trust. Continue, Fatima.
أنا لا أخون سيدي. I will not betray my Sayyid, which is like master.
نعم.
إنه أحسن إلي. He is the most excellent to me. وأكرمني, and he is the most generous to me. إني أخاف الله, and I am afraid of Allah.
نعم. إنه أحسن علي, like he has been good to me. وأكرمني, he has honored me and been generous. إني أخاف الله. Continue.
وغضبت امرأة العزيز, and this angered the wife of the Aziz. وشكت إلى زوجها, and she complained to her spouse. وعرف العزيز, and the Aziz knew, he recognized أن المرأة كاذبة, that verily the woman or his wife was lying. وعرف أن يوسف أمين, that Yusuf is honest. فقال لزوجه, so he said to his wife, إنك كنت من الخاطئين, that you are from the mistaken ones.
Not the mistake.
The wrong ones.
Yeah, the ones that have done wrong.
Done wrong. وعرف يوسف
في مصر.
في مصر بجماله, and Yusuf was known in Egypt for his beauty. وإذا رآه أحد, and when any person saw him, قال, they said, ما هذا بشر إن هذا
ما هذا بشرا.
بشرا, oh what a sight this is. إن هذا إلا ملك كريم.
ما هذا بشرا, what would you say?
I don't know what I said, but it was wrong. This is not a human, but this is a distinguished angel.
That's not what you said the first time, right?
No, it's
not.
واشتد,
connect.
واشتد, and this intensified غضب المرأة, the anger of the wife of the Aziz. وقالت ليوسف, and she said to Yusuf, إذن تذهب إلى السجن, so then you got to go to prison. قال يوسف, and Yusuf said, السجن أحب إلي, the prison is more beloved to me, like referring to rather than the betrayal, right?
No.
وبعد أيام رأى العزيز, and after some days the Aziz saw. He decided?
رأى العزيز. Yeah, over here, like he decided to.
Okay.
He saw that it would be best.
To send Yusuf to the prison, and the Aziz knew that Yusuf is innocent,
No. A few things. Going back to al-wafa wal-amanatu, where he says أنا لا أخون سيدي. See it? All of you? أنا لا أخون سيدي. What's the ماضي? Anyone? خان يخون, which means?
Betray.
Huh?
Betray.
To betray. Good. There's part of a hadith. It says. Huh? No. لا, okay. I mean, that's one where a hadith where it comes up, but just so we can look at. No. Read, Mona. لا تخن من خانك. لا تخن من خانك. Adam, what does it mean? Najib? Najib? Huh?
The one who betrayed you.
So don't betray the one that betrayed you. This is part of a hadith. لا تخن من خانك. Don't betray the one that betrayed you. What was the past tense again? خانة. What was the مضارع? يخون. You're addressing a person, so you say تخون, correct? You add lam. What type of lam is this that we added before it? Not negation. Prohibition. Right? And what does it do to the verb? It makes it. So we end up with 2 sukuns. So we drop the wow. It ends up being لا تخن. لا تخن. Don't betray. من خانك. Right? The one that betrayed you. فهمتم how the verb works? Yes? Huh? لا تقم. Allah says many times in the Quran, لا تدع مع الله إلها آخر. Right? What's the verb to call, to supplicate? Huh? دعا. The mudari is يدعو. So when Allah says don't call upon anyone besides Allah, He says لا تدعو. Okay, so this is a little different. Sorry, this is not the same. Her example was لا تقم, don't stand, right? Which works. لا تدعو is different because دعا يد. لا تصم. Good. لا تصم, don't fast. لا تصم اليوم. Don't fast today, right? دعا يدعو is different because over here the weak letter comes last, right? And when that happens and we have to make it majzoom, we drop the last letter, right? So if I wanted to say like huh? Excuse me? Yeah, so لا تدع مع الله إلها آخر. That don't call with Allah another deity, meaning don't supplicate to another deity along with Allah, right?
Would you say like
بحذف, so you would say بحذف حرف العلة. It is majzoom by the omission of the weak letter. Huh? Huh?
Why didn't the noon go away?
What noon?
For tadkhulun?
Why would the noon? This noon is part of the verb. It's not one of those noons that's added as part of the 5 verbs. That's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, it's gonna be tahunun then, right? For plural?
Nam.
Tahunun.
So you would say over there, like if you were addressing a whole bunch of people, you would say لا تخونوا من خانكم. لا تخونوا, all of you don't betray. من خانكم, the one that betrayed all of you. فهمتم? You're changing the pronouns. Okay. قال أيضا جيد. فقال لزوجه, a few lines down. إنك كنت من الخاطئين. You guys see it? كنت من الخانطين. Where's the ism of kana? Where's the ism of kana, Najib? Huh? ما? كنت من الخانطين. Where's the ism of kana? Yeah, Maryam. No. Fatima. What ka? كنت من الخانطين. The ta. That ta.
So it's pure ta. It's not mustatir.
No, it's not mustatir.
So it's the التانيث.
You say ضمير متصل. It's a connected pronoun, right?
And then the khabar is khati.
The khabar is the whole thing. The shibh al-jumla. من الخاطئين.
Wait, sorry. What
And khati'in is even not because of the min.
It's.
Not because of khabar.
Say it again.
It's because of the min, right?
What?
It makes it majroor.
Yes. Khati'in by itself, it can be mansub or majroor. But over here we know it's majroor because of the min that precedes it. And min al-khanitin, the entire thing is the shibhul jumla. That's mansub mahallan. It's positionally mansub.
I'm pretty sure Najib said attached.
And then he cut you off.
But what's
You said damir muttasil?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I heard mustatir, sorry.
What's the difference? Sorry.
Serious?
Because honestly, they start the same.
Muttasil is connected.
Muttasil is connected.
Mustatir is hidden.
Okay.
Sorry if you said that. I thought you
I
said.
think it's in muttasilun.
You said muttasilun? Okay. I heard mustatir.
Muttasilun is
Because then you said
I said
mustatir.
mustatir and
Okay.
he said muttasil.
Muttasilun is connected. Mustatirun, right? The word satr is to cover.
Okay.
Right? The word satr is to cover, right? So mustatirun means that which is covered. It's hidden,
Yeah.
right? Muttasilun is that which is connected. Like a phone call is called a ittisal because it connects you. Okay? So muttasilun, connected, right? Phone calls, ittisal, and mustatirun because there's been satr of it. It's been hidden.
And what's the one that's detached?
Munfasilun.
Oh, okay.
Right? A faslun means a fasl can mean like a partition or a gap. Right? جيد. Next page 39. إذا تذهب إلى السجن. Then you will go to the prison. We took إذن in the verb book as one of the things that can make a present tense verb mansub. Like if this happens or if you don't do this, إذن تذهب إلى السجن. Clear? Then he says قال يوسف السجن أحب إلي. The prison is more beloved to me. The rest of the ayah is Mona, السجن أحب إلي. Huh? مما تدعونني or يدعونني. I believe it's يدعونني.
How come? Yeah, that's what she's gonna ask.
Wait. This is exactly why I brought this. This is exactly why we're doing this. جيد. Okay. مما يدعونني إليه. Okay. So السجن أحب إلي. The prison is more beloved to me. مما يدعونني إليه. What does مما mean, Fatima? What's it huh?
Which?
So what's being combined? Two words. I think you said it, but I'm not sure.
When did it say? No, I didn't say nothing.
No. Mimma is a
Mimma is a connection of min
uh-huh.
and ma.
Okay. I don't know if you're saying it like duh or like you're saying it like I don't know half the time. Mimma السجن أحب إلي. The prison is more beloved to me. من ما. Right? Then that. يدعونني إليه. Right? يدعونني إليه. Okay? How would you translate يدعونني, Mona?
What they are calling me to.
What they are calling me to. Good. If you were to add, let's say you wanted to emphasize, right? So sometimes you could say, something like, I want to ask Najib if he's going to school today, right? I could say something like, أتذهب أنت إلى المدرسة اليوم؟ أتذهب أنت إلى المدرسة اليوم? I've asked him, are you going to school today, right? But I added some emphasis. How did I add emphasis? Huh? Anta. Anta is already built into the verb, but I added emphasis, correct? What is so anta is the pronoun that goes along with tadhabu. Clear? What is the pronoun that goes with yad'unani? Huh? Hum?
You said yad'unani?
Yeah.
You said, yeah, it's...
No. The ni is the maf'ulun bihi. Huh? Yad'un. What's the pronoun that goes with the... Huh? Hum?
Like they all call me to it.
Who's they?
Women.
The peoples.
La, Fatima, focus. Yeah, who's they? In the story, who's they?
All those people.
Who's all those people? Huh?
The women.
The women.
No,
So
the woman.
okay, the women. So it's they?
No.
Then what is it? Do you get the question?
Yeah, like if it's her,
But it's no, now it's a group of women, right? Because she brought a group of women, right? And they were all like, okay, he's really handsome. Because first she was being accused like, oh, she's trying to seduce her servant. Then she was like, actually, well, I want all these women to see like why I'm trying to seduce him because he's so handsome. Right? So she called a whole bunch of women.
Right.
She didn't call men and women.
No.
So what's the pronoun?
Hunna.
Huh?
Hunna.
So why is yad'un? Why?
That is a very good question.
Do you guys get the question now?
Yeah.
Because... Oh no, never mind.
You guys understand the question? Do we understand the question?
So what it... Okay.
Just, do you understand the question?
They weren't all calling him towards betrayal, just that one lady was.
But they were all trying to now... They were all interested in seducing him.
Were they?
Yes.
Wait. Sorry, I don't understand. I don't fucking do it.
Can you tell us? If once you tell us what your point is, then
So, what he's saying is that if we're saying yad'unani, we're talking about they, then they should be. Here it sounds like it's male plural, but the ones that were calling him were women. Plural for women is hunna.
Okay, stop. Okay, good. Fatima says, let's just cut to the chase. Yadhabuna. Yadhabuna means?
They all went.
They all went. Who's they? What gender?
Male.
Male. Good. How would you say they all went, women? Huh? Yadhabna.
Oh,
Clear? Right? Obviously we know that, right? What did we do to get yadhabna? To go from yadhabu, which is he went, to get to yadhabna. We just added a noon with a fatha. Correct. Okay. Wait, okay. What's our verb? Yad'u. Okay? How do we get to, let's say they, and we want men. They are all inviting, supplicating, calling. What would we do? Yad'una. Okay. To get yadhabuna, to go from yadhabu to yadhabuna, what did we add? A waw and a noon. To go from yad'u to yad'una, what did we add? Why didn't we add a waw? Because there was already one there. Okay. To go from yadhabu to yadhabna, what did we add? Just the noon. It's going to be the same.
You wouldn't say like yad'una or something?
I don't get it.
Oh, it makes sense.
You get it?
So in the first
It
one,
looks the
there's
exact
gonna be
same.
An extra wow, right? For
Okay. So, Fatima, to go from يذهب to يذهبون, what did you add? A waw and a noon, correct? So, to go from يدعو to يدعون,
You only had to add a noon.
why? Because,
There's already a vowel.
and you can't add a second waw because it's going to have a sukoon on it.
Right.
Right, so you're going to drop it. And to go from يذهب to يذهبن, what did we add?
A noon.
Just a noon, right? So to go from يدعو to يدعون, we just
So the feminine and masculine them is the
are
same.
exactly the same. The only way you can know is
Context.
from context,
Mm.
right? فهمتم؟
Mm.
السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه. That was your question, right? We started with. So it's actually the masculine plural that's throwing things off, right? And it's that wow that's the verb is ending exactly, but
Because it makes no sense.
it makes no sense.
But in the surah, it's hunna, right?
نعم يدعونني. Yeah. That's why we said that the women were reducing. Okay, let's because you guys need to rest your minds for a bit. Just break for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll continue.
To be honest, Jay, I thought you were gonna say like the Aziz was there too, like.
Where is? Okay. Bismillah. Let's continue. Najib, اقرأ موعظة السجن.
موعظة السجن. ودخل يوسف السجن وعرف أهل السجن جميعا أن يوسف شاب كريم وأن يوسف عنده علم عظيم وأن يوسف في صدره قلب رحيم وأحب أهل السجن يوسف وأكرموه وفرح الناس بيوسف وعظموه ودخل
Stop. Translate.
And
Maryam translate. Sorry. Maryam translate. موعظة السجن.
The sincere advice in the prison.
Of the prison. No.
And Joseph entered the prison, and he recognized. The prisoners recognized everyone. He recognized everyone.
لا.
Arafa ahlu. So ahlu sijni. So the people of the prison.
All recognized.
Anna Yusufa shabun karimun. That Yusuf is a young, generous man.
Noble over here, noble. So all of the prisoners, jami'an, recognized that indeed Yusuf is a noble young person. Continue.
And that Yusuf has a lot of great knowledge.
No.
And Yusuf, and his heart, in his chest is a compassionate heart.
No.
And the people of prison loved Yusuf.
No.
And honored him.
No.
And the people rejoiced with Yusuf, and they respected him, revered him.
Yeah, they respected him, revered him. Good. Fatima, وأن يوسف عنده علم عظيم. Please do the i'rab from أن.
أن is حرف توكيد ونصب.
No.
يوسف is اسم أن منصوب بالفتحة.
No.
عنده is فعل مضارع.
No, absolutely not.
No, عنده
Is a ظرف. Is a ظرف.
Okay then. ظرف مكان.
ظرف. Okay, and then دها.
دها is ضمير متصل مبني
على الضمة. في محل نصب. When it's added to a ظرف, it's في محل جر مضاف إليه. Okay. عنده. What's عنده altogether?
عنده, the whole thing,
is a شبه الجملة. But right. What is it more than that?
It's
خبر أن.
Right? Or the whole عنده علم is the whole thing is خبر.
Okay, you're jumping ahead, but what's عنده first?
عنده is مفعول به.
There's no فعل.
If you keep asking, I'm just say
Maryam.
عنده is شبه جملة. It's خبر of إن.
She tried that already.
That's not it.
Oh, it's
it's a whole different sentence.
It's to this Jamlu Ismiya.
Okay, someone put it all together. Maz. No.
No, it's مقدم.
What شبه الجملة في محل
خبر then.
لا إله إلا الله. Someone just شبه الجملة, correct?
Yes.
Someone take it from there.
خبر no مقدر.
شبه الجملة. Someone take it from there. Mona, please bail us out.
The شبه الجملة is the خبر.
Tell me in Arabic. شبه الجملة في
في محل رفع
Okay, she's good. Okay.
خبر مؤخر
خبر إن
مقدم.
مقدمون.
مؤخر. If it was مؤخر, we wouldn't mention.
right the خبر is in the beginning
Okay.
and علم عظيم is مبتدا مؤخر
Just علم.
no yeah just علم because عظيم is صفة
Okay.
هي علم.
So let's try that again. عنده is once again. Fatima, repeat it. عنده is.
ظرف
لا لا, all of it together.
شبه جملة
في.
في محل رفع
Why is it positionally مرفوع? Because it's the.
خبر مقدم
Perfect. علم is.
مبتدا مؤخر مرفوع بالضمة
And عظيم is.
صفة لعلم
مرفوع بالضمة. And عنده علم عظيم.
is
A
خبر
جملة
أن
اسمية which is في محل.
في محل رفع
نعم في محل رفع
خبر أن
خبر أن. Done. فهمتم? Because عنده علم عظيم, if, right? That by itself is a standalone sentence. He has a lot of knowledge. He has great knowledge, right? أن يوسف عنده علم عظيم. Right away you know, like, if I said أن يوسف عنده علم عظيم, عنده cannot just be the khabar of أن. Because if you say it's the khabar of أن, you're basically saying that if I said أن يوسف عنده, that's a full sentence. Which it's not, right? There's no meaning there, right? So أن يوسف عنده علم عظيم. And the same thing applies وأن يوسف في صدره قلب رحيم. Same exact construction basically. You have the ism of أن Yusuf, and then you have an entire nominal sentence with a شبه الجملة that's مقدم, and a مبتدا that's مؤخر, and a صفة, and then a nominal sentence that's in place of the خبر of أن. فهمتم?
Yeah, one question.
You look confused. Yeah.
No, I was just wondering, what did I say? Because that's what I thought, but I didn't say it, I think. What was I saying?
Why I didn't?
what did you
It's
say?
okay, whatever.
You said it's one خبر
Couple of them?
I think we all forgot to say في محل رفع.
Yeah, just go back on the recording.
Because I was going to say after that.
okay that's all good
My question is regarding.
It's too hard to memorize all your responses.
Expect so much from
I used to teach Quran students, be like, right? Or even sometimes when my wife reads to me, she gets it wrong. What did I say? Well, I don't know what you said, but you said it wrong. That's all I know. What was your question?
So when the mubtada is mu'akhkharun, it doesn't need the alif lam.
No, that's why it becomes mu'akhkharun, usually.
Oh, okay.
It becomes mu'akhkharun when it's indefinite.
Okay.
Right? Okay, continue reading. Maz. وَدَخَلَ.
وَدَخَلَ
Mm-hmm.
ودخل معه السجن رجلان وقص عليه رؤياهما قال أحدهما إني
One sec. We have a little incident right now. It's just hoping to learn some grammar. Let it.
What is spider called in Arabic?
Ankabut.
Alright.
Continue.
Good job.
Sorry. قال أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا
وقال الآخر
إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه وسأل يوسف عن التأويل.
نعم. Translate.
Word from where I
From
started.
where you read.
Okay. And the two men entered the prison with him, and they narrated, or they like recited their visions to
Narrated to him.
To him.
Their
Visions. And I saw myself squeezing.
One of the two said.
One of the two said, I saw myself squeezing grapes into intoxicants. And the other man said, indeed, I saw myself Carrying bread and birds eating from it.
Above, carrying bread above my head.
Oh, carrying bread above my head and birds eating from it.
No.
السائل. Okay.
Iman, page 39 at the bottom, where he read وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ رَجُلًا وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ رُؤْيَاهُمَا. Where's dakhala is a verb, it's a past tense verb. Where's the fa'il of dakhala?
It's like not there.
No, it's there.
It's there. Wait.
Najib?
Oh.
That's what she just said.
No,
but
Rajulani.
Rajulan. Who's the one that entered? The two men. Rajulan. That's why it's marfu'. وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ رَجُلان.
But it's not marfu.
It is marfu'. Rajulan. How many men?
I misunderstood the question.
I said, where's the fa'il of the verb dakhala, correct?
Yes.
The answer is rajulan. It's marfu' because it's marfu' bil alif.
What's the difference between muqaddara and mustatir?
Two completely different concepts, right?
They're both hidden.
Muqaddara, mustatirun is hidden. Muqaddara is like implied.
When something is hidden.
No, because muqaddara, like taqdir, you're estimating or calculating that it's there. Right? Mustatirun means hidden.
But showing up in a sentence is the same thing. They're both hidden.
They would be used in completely different contexts. For example,
So
like
the
mustatirun.
stuff would be muqaddara.
Yes, pronouns would be mustatir.
What does ma'ahu mean? Sorry.
With him.
Oh.
Right.
I was just reading off the translation.
Yeah, I knew that. The way you were going, the speed you were going, I was positive you were reading out the translation. Don't worry about that. وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ رُؤْيَاهُمَا. And they both narrated to him their vision, their dreams, what they saw. Where's the fa'il of qassa is a verb. Where's the fa'il? Ya Najib. Huh? رؤياهما. Huh? Where's the fa'il, Mona? The alif. قصّا. They both narrated to him both of their visions. فهمتم?
Oh, so it's not hidden. That's not hidden.
It's not hidden.
You know, Chef, we really have to practice the a'la for
We'll get to it, don't worry. شيئا فشيئا.
Jumli. What am I saying? The
جملة فعلية. نعم.
Yeah, because we didn't practice them at all. It's just
شيئا فشيئا. قال أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا. One of them said, indeed I see myself أعصر خمرا. Right? Where is the fa'il of أراني? Where is the fa'il of أراني? Maryam. Yes, the fa'il.
The knee.
لا, I see myself. The knee is the maf'ulun bihi. It's what he sees. He sees himself. Where's the fa'il? Ya Najib. Wallah, you guys have been obsessed with this particular fa'il for an hour, and now when we need it, mustatirun. Yeah. Inni arani ana. Finally we need mustatirun for an hour and a half, and now we need mustatir. Okay? Asiru khamra. Once again, وقال الآخر. The other one said, إني أراني. Where's the fa'il? Where's the fa'il, Maryam?
You're asking me again?
Well, there's only one Maryam in the class. نعم. أحمل. Where's the fa'il? Great. فوق رأسي. Above my head I see bread. تأكله الطير من. تأكل is a verb. What's the fa'il? الطير. Good. Maryam, read. Actually, no. Translate the last line. Najib. وسأل يوسف عن التأويل.
They asked Joseph on the interpretation.
نعم. تأويل the interpretation. Anyone know what verb ta'wil comes from? Huh? Ta'wil. What's the pattern? What's the pattern that ta'wil is on? Huh? Taf'il. Good. And what's the verb for taf'il? Huh? La.
That's the third form, right? No, second form, so it should be. No, wait.
Taf'il. What's?
أولا
Huh?
أولا
Good. So what's the pattern? Taf'il is
فعل
fa'ala. Fa'ala. So ta'wil comes from
أولا
awwala. When I do that. awwala. Awwala. What's the mudari'? يؤول. يؤول. أول يؤول. And the masdar is ta'wil. I remember that sometime in first year, that when I walked into the class, this was when you guys were doing ulum al-hadith. I think Sheikh Ahmed was talking about the main narrators of hadith, and he talked about Abdullah ibn Abbas, and he talked about the dua the Prophet ﷺ made for Abdullah ibn Abbas, which was نعم اللهم فقهه في الدين وعلمه التأويل لولا تأويل. Why? نعم اللهم فقهه في الدين وعلمه التأويل. لا نعم مفعول technically مفعول به ثاني. وعلمه التأويل. Teach him. Him is the first مفعول and تأويل is the second مفعول. Right? Who to teach and what to teach. Read مريم. وكان يوسف
وكان يوسف عالما بتأويل الرؤيا وكان يوسف نبيا من الأنبياء وكان الناس في زمانه يعبدون غير الله ووضعوا أربابا كثيرة من عند أنفسهم وقالوا هذا رب البر وهذا رب البحر وهذا رب الرزق وهذا رب المطر وكان يوسف يرى كل ذلك ويضحك وكان يوسف يعلم كل ذلك ويبكي وكان يوسف يريد أن يدعوهم إلى الله وقد أراد الله أن يكون ذلك في السجن ألا يستحق أهل السجن الموعظة ألا يستحق أهل السجن الرحمة أليس أهل السجن عباد الله أليس أهل السجن بني آدم كان يوسف في السجن ولكنه كان حرا جريئا كان يوسف فقيرا ولكنه كان جوادا سخيا إن الأنبياء يجهرون في الحق في كل مكان إن الأنبياء يجودون بالخير في كل زمان.
Okay, a few things. I'm not sure we'll have time to translate all of them, but one of the lines that you read in 41, أليس أهل السجن بني آدم. أليس أهل السجن بني آدم. Do you see it? Go ahead, Maryam. Do the Arab. Skip ليس. همزة الاستفهام. Done. ليس.
ليس حرف التوكيد ونسب.
Absolutely not.
ليس isn't it like sister of Kana, no?
Okay. Sister of Kana. حرف التوكيد. حرف التوكيد.
Oh, never mind. ماض ناقص.
فعل ماض ناقص. فعل ماض ناقص مبني على الفتحة. Right? It's مبني على الفتحة. Good. أهل.
اسم ليس.
نعم.
في محل رفع.
لا, it's right there in front of you.
Oh, مضاف.
Yeah, what state is it in, Maryam? What state is it in? Okay.
مرفوع بالضمة
نعم.
وهو مضاف.
وهو مضاف.
السجن.
You know, like sometimes when I ask you the second time, you respond like you said it the first time.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Fatima is my witness. That's not what you said.
What has it?
You said mudaf.
You said mudaf.
No, before that.
Before you that, you said something else.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alright, never mind.
أهل اسم ليس مرفوع وهو
مضاف.
أحسنت. Okay.
السجن مضاف إليه مجرور بالكسرة.
Perfect. That's okay. Now, next.
عبادة. That's.
لا, the one under it. I wanted you to do the بني آدم.
Oh, بني آدم. ليس. So it's what's it called? كان اسمه قبل كان.
There's no كان.
قبل ليس.
Okay. خبر ليس.
منصوب. No way. بني.
It is this word that I brought this whole question up.
Is it من الأسماء الخمسة?
من الأسماء الخمسة? Absolutely not. من الأسماء الخمسة? No.
Then what is it?
You get the mistake you made?
من الأسماء الخمسة? من. Okay. Yeah.
But no, it's not.
بحرف النون. Let's take it out now.
Mona, do you know? Without saying it, do you know?
Yeah.
You do know? Hatta, without saying it, she gave you the answer. Fatima, do you know?
I don't even know what you're talking about. You want me?
Najib, do you know?
Hold on, wait. What line are we on?
بني آدم.
بني آدم. بني. So أهل was the اسم of ليس, it's a مضاف, السجن is مضاف إليه. But بني.
Oh, it should be منصوب, right? So let me see.
أهل السجن وليس أهل السجن.
Najib?
I agree with her. It should be mansub.
Okay. Bani. Why should it be mansub? Because it's the?
But you can't say banui or banay. So you say bani, right?
So it's originally it's banuna.
Okay. So just okay. You're on the right track. So Bani. Just give me the i'rab of Bani.
Bani is
خبر ليس.
خبر ليس.
What state is it in?
منصوب بحرف النون.
It's not mansub. It's
Since when do you do i'rab of a noun and say منصوب بحذف النون?
Oh, مضاف. It's a مضاف.
No, it's mansubun because of the thiqal thing, right?
I'm making up stuff right now.
okay.
Wallahi, I told Mona don't give you the answer, and she gave you the answer.
She didn't say anything.
She did. Mona, you know how you gave the answer indirectly? No? I said, Mona, without saying the answer, do you know the answer? And what did she say?
No.
No, that's not what she said. The first time, what did she say?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
No, she didn't say.
She said yeah.
She said, yeah. Bani, khabaru laysa, mansubun bil. Yeah. Yeah, it's treated like a jam'u al-mudhakkar salim. It's banuna.
Oh, so this is
Banuna. This becomes banina. Why was the noon dropped? Because of idafa construction.
Oh, I get it now.
It's banuna.
This is banuna, which then
I know what but I was using it as a بحذف النون, but that's not that.
حذف النون is in
that's
أفعال
the mistake I
أفعال
made. I
الخمسة.
understood that this is actually مضاف and مضاف إليه.
Okay, so
But
Bani.
then it was منصوب.
Basically, you're saying you said the right answer without saying it.
Oh yes.
Sorta, yeah.
Well, she kept on yelling.
So Bani, المهم, as we end. Bani خبر ليس منصوب بالياء because it's treated, right? They say, we'll just say لأنه جمع المذكر السالم, but they say ملحق بجمع المذكر السالم. It's like a جمع المذكر السالم وهو مضاف. It's a mudaf, and that's why the noon was dropped. It's banuna or banina. When you have a word that ends like that, that's muthanna or jam'u al-mudhakkar as-salim, and it's the mudaf, meaning it has a mudafun ilay, you drop the noon. Right? So, خبر ليس منصوب بالياء لأنه جمع المذكر السالم وهو مضاف. آدم مضاف إليه مجرور بال آدم فتح لأنه غير منصرف. فهمتم؟ وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. We covered this once and I said, and I know it's first here, يا بني إسرائيل, يا بني إسرائيل. We explained why it's Bani Israel all the time it comes up. We said because of ya. Right? When you have two words that come after ya, an idafa phrase that comes after the harf nida, which is ya, you're going to make it mansoob. And we say ya Bani Israel as opposed to ya Banu Israel.
The harf nida by itself doesn't make it mansoob. Because
It does.
Oh, it does. Whatever comes after harf nida.
If it's an idafa construction after it.
Like ya Abu Bakr.
Yeah, right? Remember? As opposed to ya Ahmadu, ya Muhammadu when it's one name. وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى Huh? Ahlu like the people of. Ahl can mean family, the people of.